What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 6TW Chapter 141. When Marine was fighting against these pirates, the battle between Whitebeard and Kaido was also very fierce. The beast Kaido is known as the strongest creature in sea, land and air, and the other is Whitebeard, known as the most powerful man in the world. The battle between the two people is enough to describe the four words: destroying heaven and destruction. There is no one within a few miles of the battle between the two of them. Even the deputy captain of the two pirate regiments appeared. Their side will only be affected for no reason. Although Kaido has become a dragon form, whether it is stamina, endurance, attack power, defense power and even resilience is much stronger than before, but you should know that his opponent is Whitebeard. One can snatch with Roger, the One Piece Whitebeard on the throne. If it weren't for Whitebeard's not too interested in the position of One Piece, it would really be a question of who One Piece is. Although the crew of the Whitebeard pirates is more powerful than the Roger pirates crew, it can't stand the strength of Whitebeard. So even though Kaido has become a dragon, he was still crushed by Whitebeard, hammered on the ground. Of course, the reason why Whitebeard was able to explode with such a powerful force is inseparable from his own current angry emotions. Relation. Angrily, Whitebeard was able to cut Kaido's body with a deep cut. Although Kaido Pervert's physical fitness would soon be restored, the pain he felt was real. Even though the incision on his body will heal, the pain left on his body is not so easy to hear. But Whitebeard's breathing is also a bit disordered. After all, he is not the same as he was 10 years ago. The man who can fight Roger for 3 days and 3 nights is already a bit old now. That old lady, what the hell is she doing? Why hasn't she come yet? Kaido, who had been crushed all the time, couldn't help complaining about the ant's speed. If the ant pirates appeared, the current situation would be completely changed, and the Whitebeard pirates would instantly fall into a disadvantage. And the ant pirates who were driving on the sea also encountered a slight obstacle at this time. The sea in front of them was already covered with a thick layer of ice. Yes, the ant had already reached Wanakuna's, the surrounding area, but the ice made by Aokiji just now hindered his footsteps. Mom, there is a layer of ice in front of us, we can't make it through. Ice? Who is it? Is there anyone in the Whitebeard pirates who can make ice? The ant asked. I don't know, but there is such a guy in Marine, and I don't know if Marine did it. Advertisement, Marine? Prometheus. Yes, mother. At this moment, a group of flames suddenly flew out from behind the ant, flying above the ice. The fire in the sky. I saw that the sun, Prometheus, seemed to be getting bigger, and a large amount of flames fell directly from the sky and landed on the ice, and the ice exuding the biting cold instantly melted. This movement naturally attracted the attention of Marine and the others. At this time, there were no pirates standing around them. As early as the moment Riester decided to take action, the outcome of the battle had been determined. Is the ant here? It seems that Wano Kuni is really lively now. Akainu said something. They are not on the path of the ant pirates group now, so the decision that Anti will make in a while also determines whether they want to take action against the ant pirates. If the guy from Pikumoon ignores them and heads to Wano Kuni, then their fight with Pikumoon can be avoided naturally, but if Paigumon takes the initiative to provoke them, then a big battle is already inevitable, a bit. And their 4 admiral level combat powers are not afraid of Biguma. Akainu now feels that even if Biguma is forced to stay here, there is no problem. As this Biguma? Although the two sides are still far apart, Rist can feel the terrifying and depressive aura emanating from each other, making his blood that has just settled down once again can't help but boil. So strong, it seems to have a fight with him. Noting Riester's emotions, Garp was very satisfied. He thought that he was such a passionate kid at the beginning. When he meets a strong opponent, he can't help but want to compete with him, regardless of whether the final result is a loss or a win. But after Pikumoon broke the ice, naturally he also found the 4 warships in the distance, as well as the number of people on the warship. Mom, there are Marines there, don't we need to eliminate them first? Advertisement. Shut up to the old lady. Bigumon directly drew out the soul of the person who had just spoken, and crushed it to pieces. This scene also immediately frightened the other members of the ant pirate group. Whether it was Akainu, Aokiji or Lister, Bigumon didn't pay attention to it. Only that Garp changed his face when the ant saw him. As a member of Rock's pirate, he knows how Garp got the title of hero, and he has also seen how powerful Garp is. Even if her current strength is not bad, she has no confidence in defeating Garp. Garp, what do you mean by this fellow here? Do you want to take a shot at the old lady? Bigum yelled directly to Garp. Lin, I'm not interested in interfering with your pirate affairs, as long as your people don't deal with us. Okay, Garp Vice Admiral, I hope you can remember what you said. After speaking, Bigumon ordered his children to pass directly from a place far away from the warship. He was relieved to see that Garp had never done anything to him. Sure enough, it is Garp Vice Admiral. Even a big kid like Bigumon looks scared when he sees you, Garp Vice Admiral. Ha ha ha. Being praised by Lister like this, Garp's heart is also very advanced and has a hint of pride. Of course, that old woman was educated by the old man, but she didn't expect that guy would grow into a monster today. At this time, Charlotte Linlin, even if Garp fights with him, must bring up 100% of the spirit, and can't have the slightest slack. Today's Charlotte Linlin and Kaido are able to grow up completely because of their Marine's negligence. At that time, all of them are currently on rocks, thinking that if Rox is dead, his crew will not become a climate. But I didn't expect that after Rox died, without the restraints of Rox, these crew members grew more ferocious than the other. Now almost all the big pirates who have caused marine headaches are almost the old parts of Rox pirate. Chapter 142 Marine's Conspiracy. Whitebeard, Kaido and Biggie Mom are all here now, and we can also start our mission. Akainu said solemnly. The purpose of these people coming to New World is not just to stabilize the situation in New World, but to thoroughly purify New World. Well, it's also time to start. With their strength, the battle will not end for a while. I'm going to Whitebeard's site, Akainu said solemnly, and then directly ordered his warship to leave here and head towards the territories that Whitebeard ruled. Then I'll just go to Biggie Mom, Kuzan said lazily. He doesn't care where he goes. Well, the old man will stay and clean up the site around Kaido. Garp said indifferently. He was very happy to reduce some voyages. That's right, this is their main task when they come to New World. Even if these 3 pirate regiments cannot be completely wiped out, they will be greatly injured, and all the pirates they encounter in New World, all can be killed on the spot. Then I will stay here and observe the situation of the 3 parties. Of course, the last task was given to Rist. Although he may have no chance to fight here, his task is the most important of the 4. As long as the fighting between the 3 people subsided, Riester needed to report this information immediately to prevent them from being caught by the main fleet returned by these pirates. With the current strengths of Aokiji and Akainu, it is still a bit rare to face Biggie Mom and Whitebeard alone, and there are other captains and cadres. If you are not careful, you may lose your life in New World. So Riester's task is both the easiest and the most important. At this time, the pirate group led by Biggie Mom had already climbed the natural danger outside Wano-Kuni. No, Biggie Mom actually came. Marco was the first to notice Biggie Mom. He knew that when Biggie Mom completely arrived on the battlefield, the situation between the 2 sides would now completely change. So his current thinking is that he will not be able to land on Wano-Kuni anyway. Advertisement afterwards, Marco suddenly broke out, and immediately repelled Jin by a distance of more than 10 meters, then turned his head and quickly flew in the direction of the Ants' pirate ship. Mom, the captain of the 1st Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, Marco the Phoenix. An Ants crew member of the pirate group said in horror that their pirate group now has relatively few cadres, and few can compete with Marco. After all, the main cadres in the future have not yet grown up. Woolen cloth. Don't want to succeed. Jin also saw Marco's intention. Just when Marco was about to kick the Ant pirate ship down the waterfall, Jin also accelerated to catch up in an instant, and also blocked Marco's attack with one kick. Both of them are very familiar with this scene, but compared to just now, the order of offense and defense has changed. Good job, Jin. A crew member of the anti-pirate group immediately cheered and shouted at Jin. If Jin didn't stop him this time, they might have climbed for nothing this time. Damn it. Marco gritted his teeth when Jin blocked the blow. Since there is no other person in the Ant Pirates group that has the ability to fight at high altitudes except for Biggie Mom, they naturally have no way to support Jin, and it is impossible for the Ant to pull down her body and attack Marco herself. Jin, I'll leave the stupid bird to you. Marco, don't let the old lady down. Bigum said to Jin, and then walked directly beside them. Jin didn't care about the command-like tone of Bigum. After all, he was not his opponent at all. No, the Ant Pirate group is here. Those pirates who were closer to the port also quickly discovered the Ant Pirates. Unlike many members of the Whitebeard pirate group, whose faces are gloomy, the members of Beast's Pirates are full of excitement. The situation is finally about to change. Whitebeard and Kaido naturally felt the Ant's breath. That old woman is finally here. Kaido finally breathed a sigh of relief. Advertisement, that guy Linlin actually came too. This is what Whitebeard thought in his heart. Although he had anticipated that the Ant would come before the war, what he did not expect was that Kaido's strength had reached such a terrifying level. If Linlin is added, he might really be overwhelmed. The Ant felt the aura of the 2 fighting, and she couldn't wait to join the battlefield. She rode directly on Zeus and flew towards the direction of the 2 fighting. Widewhoa. Before the people arrived, the sound came first, and Biggie Mom's attack swept directly towards Whitebeard. Prestige is a unique attack technique of the giants. It is very powerful. A giant sword aura slashes directly at Whitebeard. This attack is not weaker than that of the great swordsman. This shows that Charlotte Linlin also has a great swordsman of strength. I saw that after Whitebeard slashed Kaido, Kong Yunch threw directly from his right hand to his left hand, and then turned around, clenched his right hand, and struggling to slap into the atmosphere. The fragmented atmosphere directly blocked Bigum's. A slash. And when the attacks were offsetting each other, Biggie Mom also came to Kaido's side at this time. You are really embarrassed, Kaido. The first sentence is a mockery of Kaido. Linlin, you are too slow. Kaido complained quite bitterly that if she could arrive earlier, he wouldn't have been so badly injured himself. There is no way. Who makes you Wano-Kuni surrounded by Marines? Biggie Mom casually found an excuse, but it is indeed a fact to have Marine. Marine, those guys are really lingering. Do you want to wait for us to lose out and reap the benefits of the fishermen? Who knows, but Garp, the hero who defeated Captain Rox, is also there. Whitebeard, did you hear that? How about the 2 of us stop here and continue fighting? We can only save those Marines for nothing. Garp, it is indeed an opponent worthy of serious treatment, but this cannot be a reason to let the old man retreat. Come on, Let the old man take a look at how far you two have grown today, whether there is any qualified to be on an equal footing with the old man. After that, Whitebeard cut the Kong Yun directly in his hand. He clenched his fists with his arms violently. Then he slammed forward. The atmosphere in front of him instantly shattered, and the scope of the shattering was this. The biggest since the battle began. Chapter 143 Pit Garp's Riester. At this moment, Shockfruit's ability was fully exploded. Feeling Whitebeard's angry blow, Kaido and Biggie Mom quickly released their own attacks. Bahai. The two stood side by side while waving their weapons forward, and a rapid shockwave directly attacked Whitebeard. The strenuous blow of the three erupted in midair. But obviously, even the combined of Kaido and Biggie Mom is not the opponent of Whitebeard's angry blow. The Overlord Sea was directly swallowed by Whitebeard's attack, and Shockfruit's power continued to attack directly. Kaido and Biggie Mom are both. The two people who were enveloped by Whitebeard's attack suddenly widened their eyes, and a stream of blood spurted out of the two people's mouths. However, Whitebeard who released this blow also felt a little disengaged. After all, with such a powerful attack, he couldn't release it indefinitely. Among the crew of the Whitebeard Heiser regiment, one of them looked at Whitebeard, his eyes revealed greed. It's really a powerful force, Shockfruit's ability, I must get it. An ambition can be clearly seen in his eyes, but at this time everyone else is fighting with all their strength, and no one notices the expression on this person's face at all. Teach, what are you doing in a daze? Fight quickly, the Ant Pirate group is here. You hurry up and be more serious. Yes, Captain Sachi. Both Kaido and Biggie Mom, who received the angry blow of Whitebeard from the front, felt very uncomfortable and felt that their internal organs had shifted. Old man Whitebeard, I haven't seen you for more than 10 years, and your strength really hasn't declined at all. After the attack, Biggie Mom supported his body with his knife and wiped the blood flowing out of the corner of his mouth. Lin, this is a grievance between Kaido and me. No matter what your business is, if you are acquainted, leave here as soon as possible. Otherwise, don't blame the old man for being polite. Whitebeard, you should know that this is impossible. If you want to kill Kaido, it depends on whether you have one on two skills. Advertisement, since you are so obsessed with understanding, then you are also ready to die. Of course Whitebeard knew that it was impossible for Lin to retreat just by his own words. Afterwards, Whitebeard picked up the Kong Yun and cut again. Shockfruit's ability was directly attached to the blade, and then directly slashed forward. Of course, Kaido and Biggie Mom were not waiting to be killed, and they started to fight back. Thunder 8 trigrams. Widewo. Both attacks were directed at Whitebeard, but none of the three made any evasive actions. Because they all know that avoiding is of no use at all. The fighting between the three parties continued, and the Beast's pirates, supported by the Ant Pirates, became more and more fierce in the Vietnam War. Everyone in the Whitebeard Pirates has been defeated steadily, except for a few captains who can hold on. Ordinary crew members have already suffered heavy casualties. If it continues, the tripartite pirate group may all cause an irreparable loss. It is impossible for this battle to stop due to external forces, and it is possible for this battle to be over only when one party is completely downwind. The effects of Akainu and Aokiji who left Wanakuna's range were also very significant. Any pirate group they encountered either turned into ice sculptures or was burned with no residue left. Compared with the Conscientious 2, Garp appeared to be a lot more laid back. Catching the pirates and chopping them up is not like catching, but like playing an eagle and catching a chicken, chasing the pirates. I don't know if this is the root cause of the disease left by the Roger pirates. There is always no way to catch the pirates outside of East Blue. There will always be a way out when they are in a desperate situation. But fortunately, there was a reliable man like Bogart on Garp's warship, so the only way out of Garp's survival was blocked by Bogart. This time, it can be said that since the era of the big pirates, Marine has achieved the biggest victory in New World. And Riester, who has been under the danger of Wano Kuni, has a very ugly face. He is suffocated. It is obvious that such a fierce battle is right in front of him, but he can't participate. Advertisement. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Originally, the order Sengoku issued yesterday was to let Riester stay in New World alone. Marine did so excessively in New World this time. When they recovered, they would make a fierce counterattack against Marine after all. He didn't know how long he hadn't made a full shot, and he didn't know how much his strength was compared to the top powerhouses in this world, or he was already on par with them. At that time, he would be faced with a situation where he had more than enough energy, so just in case, Riester decided to keep Garp. Rist said to his adjutant Bruce, "Yes, but what about Garp Vice Admiral? Tell Kuzan Admiral, Akainu Admiral, so that they can return to naval headquarters." Bruce knew that this time Riester had pitted Garp Vice Admiral again, and he didn't know how Garp would react when he knew he was left behind. The fighting spirit on his body had been involuntarily exuded, and the seamen on his warship also couldn't help but distance from Lister, for fear that Lister could not restrain his loneliness and directly cut them off. So instead of letting Garp take a holiday, it's better to let him accompany him to guard the Marine branch of New World. After all, if the three-way pirates counterattack severely, even if Riester is strong, he will be alone. But Riester kept Garp behind because he knew that even if Garp returned to naval headquarters, there was nothing to do, and because of this mission, Sengoku would be fake. However, as time got longer and longer, the momentum of the trio's fighting became weaker and weaker, and it wouldn't take long before this battle was over. Therefore, in order to prevent the destruction of the few remaining marine branches of New World, Sengoku decided to keep Riester in New World, because Liester's strength is completely independent. From time to time, the aftermath of the battle from above would reach them, and the warships were shaking around on this sea area. Don't worry about him, I can't just throw myself in New World. It's so dangerous here, you can't find someone to accompany me. Sengoku will praise him if he knows what he has done. After all, when Garp returns to naval headquarters, Sengoku must be the most troublesome. Yes, I understand. In the blink of an eye, 3 days have passed. In these 3 days, the cloud above Wano Kuni has not dissipated. There may be a few minutes of being shaken away by the momentum of a few people, but it doesn't take much. For a long time, they will be gathered again by the momentum of a few people. Chapter 144 Whitebeard Pirates Retreat. The Battle of the Ghost Island is about to come to an end. At this time, whether it is the Whitebeard Pirates, the Beasts Pirates, or the Ant Pirates who joined the battlefield last, everyone is exhausted. After all 3 days and 3 nights of high-intensity fighting, no one can bear it. Now even if they want to kill each other, they are powerless. The enemy is right in front of them, but most people have lost the strength to continue fighting. NS. Still standing, this is the last trace of dignity they can maintain. Now the battle between them is probably a battle between eyes. If the eyes can kill you, then this battle will be easy. Even Whitebeard, Kaido and Biggie Mom are very tired at this time. The scars on their bodies are evidence of their 3-day and 3-night fighting. At this time, everyone's body is not intact. Even Kaido and Biggie Mom, 2 people with monster-like physique, can't wait to lie directly on the ground at this time. After all, the battle with Whitebeard not only consumes physical energy, but also wastes mental energy. The 3 of them have been in a highly concentrated state for this period of time, and they dare not relax at all. As long as the opponent catches a flaw, then what awaits them is definitely a fatal blow. Marco was also very embarrassed at this time. He was not Jin's opponent at all. The reason why he was able to stay with Jin for so long was entirely because of the characteristics of the Phoenix, but maintaining the Phoenix form was a very physical consuming task. Now his physical strength is about to bottom out, and the speed of recovery from injuries on his body is getting slower and slower. If he continues to fight, he may not even be able to maintain his Phoenix status. The same is true for Kaido. The Dragon Man state is not maintained for as long as he wants to maintain. There is a huge wound on his body from the shoulder to the abdomen. This wound has existed for a day, but it still hasn't recovered well. Because he has no physical strength to recover from his injury now, he must use all his power to deal with Whitebeard. Bigu Mamu was also embarrassed with a disheveled face, and his body was also scarred, and his clothes had been dyed red with blood, and he could hardly see a good place on his body. Even if Bigum's skin is harder and steel-skinned, it can't stop the attack of the strongest man in the world. Of course, the most embarrassed of the 3 is Whitebeard. If he could rub the 2 men on the ground 10 years ago, but now he doesn't have such strength. The shortcomings of old age have been revealed bit by bit, and the physical strength can't keep up. In the past few years, there have also been dark diseases on the body. These dark diseases will burst out in battle from time to time. Sometimes, the pain from his body made him have to stop his movements a little bit. Advertisement: Father, the battle is over. If we continue, our Whitebeard pirates will really have suffered a heavy loss. At this moment, Marco flew to Whitebeard's side and said. Although Marco was still maintaining the Phoenix form at this time, he could no longer recover from some minor injuries. Hearing this, Whitebeard turned his head and glanced at his children. Sure enough, after 3 days of bloody battle, the surviving crew was less than half of when they came. Upon seeing this, the corners of Whitebeard's eyes became involuntarily wet. He thought that he had harmed his children. If he were not anxious to avenge Odin, these people might not need to die. All the members of the Whitebeard pirates have been ordered to retreat now. Whitebeard shouted directly, and the sound spread throughout the Ghost Island in an instant. Kaido, Linlin, you guys shouldn't stop me. Originally, the 2 wanted to say something cruel, but when they saw Whitebeard's death-seeking eyes, they just wanted to blurt out the words. They were directly held back. If they say to keep them, Whitebeard really dares to fight them desperately, and once Whitebeard fights them desperately, even if the 2 of them are not dead, they will be seriously injured. Then it will only be a waste of Marine who sits on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. And they really don't want to fight with Whitebeard anymore. The crew doesn't matter to both of them. They can regenerate or find them again, but if they continue to fight with Whitebeard, it will be more than a loss. Who knows if Whitebeard, this old guy, will go crazy in the end. Crazy Whitebeard, they really can't resist it, even if the 2 of them work together. Whitebeard, from now on Wano Kuni is Laozi's territory, and Laozi will not allow you to set foot on Wano Kuni. Of course, Kaido is still not counseling. Whenever he comes up with something in his head, he will say something directly in his mouth without passing through his brain at all. And Whitebeard, who had just left Wano Kuni's area, lost the pressure in his heart. Suddenly his eyes went dark, he spit out a mouthful of blood, and fainted directly. This battle became the beginning of the decline of Whitebeard's strength. Advertisement: Kaido. If you can do it, try it. Laozi can beat you back once, and naturally you can beat you back a second time. Although Bigumon was assisted this time, he believed that after a few years, his strength would definitely surpass that of Whitebeard. And the Whitebeard pirates, as the most powerful man in the world, Whitebeard, did not avenge his former brother, Odin, so naturally they could not promote it. The battle ended in this way. No one wins or loses. It is not glorious that Bigumon and Kaido partnered to repel Whitebeard. After all, they are recognized as pirates at the same level as Whitebeard. Seeing his father fainted, all the crew of the Whitebeard pirate group shouted very nervously. The ship doctors also quickly checked Whitebeard's body to see what went wrong. As the so-called heart disease is the most terrifying, there is almost no cure. All the dark diseases that had been left on him broke out in this war, and coupled with the failure to avenge Odin and the loss of so many sons, Whitebeard also had a heart disease in his heart. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Wano Kuni will be put in your hands first, and when the time comes, Laozi will personally take Wano Kuni back to avenge Odin. After all the members of the Whitebeard pirates had retreated, Whitebeard finally boarded the ship. Humph. Father, Kaido said without fear, but now that I saw it, there was still a little distance, and they were obviously unable to publicize this matter. Whitebeard's eyes narrowed. Chapter 145 Rist meets the Whitebeard pirates. Have you retreated? On the warship, Rist could already feel that the mobile of the Whitebeard pirates was slowly driving towards their warship. The people on the mobile had become a mess at this time. The sudden collapse of Whitebeard really filled their hearts with anxiety. Of course, this anxiety was not afraid of Kaido's chasing after, but caring for Whitebeard. Physical health problems. Don't worry, it's okay, it's just that the old injury relapsed, coupled with the excessive sadness, the old man fainted, and he will wake up after a while, but this time he wakes up and don't let the old man do it again. It's a big battle, and Dad's body is no longer suitable for this kind of battle. Hearing the words of the ship doctor, the people on the Whitebeard Pirates group breathed a sigh of relief. Sir, the Moby D*K of the Whitebeard Pirates was found ahead. The observer on the warship reported to Rist as soon as he spotted the Moby D*K. I see. Maybe the location of the warship was exactly on the route of the Mobike, so the Mobike was getting closer and closer to the warship. The crew of the Whitebeard pirate group also found a warship not far from them, which made their spirits become highly nervous again in an instant. They had known for a long time that there was a warship under Wano Kuni, but they didn't expect that they were so badly lucky that they happened to be knocked down by them. The captains of all the divisions of the Whitebeard pirates are standing on the bow. Now the old man has not woken up, so their thinking is that it is not suitable to conflict with Marine, but if Marine wants to do something with them, they are not afraid, because they but the Whitebeard pirates. I have to say that all those who carry the title of the Whitebeard pirate group are also burdened with the pressure to maintain the dignity of the Whitebeard pirate group. They would rather die in battle than let themselves become a deserter. Tisk. Has Whitebeard fainted? Feeling the faint breath emanating from Whitebeard's body, Lister said uncomfortably. Marine, what do you want to do? Marco asked solemnly. Although he hadn't seen Lister before, judging from the breath radiating from Lister's body, this was definitely not an opponent they could defeat. It's nothing, just want to see what Whitebeard is like. In Whitebeard's appearance, maybe it's easy to be killed now. Advertisement, what are you talking about, Marine? Hearing what Rist said, the people on the Whitebeard pirates were instantly unhappy. Some grumpy people were full of angry voices in their voices. But Whitebeard is not fighting right now, and killing you is not interested at all. Let's go. You be *************** D. Joes and Beasta said with an angry face, these words are almost naked to tell them that I despise you. Calm. Marco pressed Joes with one hand, and Sachi hugged Beasta from behind, otherwise they were really afraid that the two men would attack Marine on impulsiveness, and it would be really difficult to end up at that time. Do you want to take a shot? If you team captains take a shot together, it's not impossible to accompany you. After speaking, Rist pulled out a small part of Feng Yin. In an instant, a few terrifying sword auras flew out from the wind, and flew towards the Whitebeard pirate group, but this was only a deterrent and did not have much attack power. After all, just drawing a sword can produce sword aura, which is entirely the effect of Riester's cultivation of swordsmanship to a certain artistic conception. This guy. This time, everyone in the Whitebeard pirate group trembled in their hearts. With this alone, they knew Lister's terrifying strength. Well, I will remember this great grace, and I will tell him when Dad wakes up. Rist's move is indeed a great favor to them. If someone else is here, whether it is Akainu or Aokiji, there will be a battle with this group of people. Even if they can't be arrested, the two people will die desperately. Drop Whitebeard. After all, the Whitebeard pirate group who lost Whitebeard has no deterrent in the sea. The reason why the Whitebeard pirates has such a reputation in the sea is entirely supported by Whitebeard alone, and has little to do with their captains. No, first I'm a Marine, but I don't need the kindness of your pirates, and when you return to your own territory, don't think about revenge against me. What do you mean? Advertisement. Marco frowned when he suddenly realized that things didn't seem to be that simple. The crew of the Whitebeard pirate group said excitedly. They thought their father was awake, but they didn't expect to faint. Afterwards, Riester put away his aura, and Whitebeard's conqueror's haki, who knew that he could no longer contend, also dissipated. This is unheard of for everyone. A person who faints can also burst out of haki, which is different from the unconscious burst of conqueror's haki that awakens for the first time. Now, even Rist's heart admires Whitebeard very much. This kind of thing is not something ordinary people can do. It doesn't mean anything. You'll know when you go back. Okay, let's go quickly. If you don't go, you will never leave here. Oh, even if your consciousness is not awake, don't you forget to protect your family? It should be Whitebeard? Damn it, this Marine actually owns conquerors like the old man. Therefore, Rist has always hidden Makino very well, except for Garp and Zephyr, as well as some villagers in Windmill Village and some marines on his warship. No one knows his relationship with Makino. Riester instantly felt that Conqueror's Haki, which was contending with him, erupted from the fainted Whitebeard. This is because the consciousness is not sober at all. After that, Rist used Conqueror's Haki to crush them. Of course, he didn't use his full strength. Otherwise, with the mental state of the crew on the Whitebeard pirates, it is estimated that there will be a few captains who can still stay awake. There were only these two, the two people that Riester had to protect for his life, and they were also Riester's only weakness in this world. At this moment, a wave of Conqueror's Haki suddenly broke out from the Whitebeard pirate group, and formed a contending with Liester's Conqueror's Haki. Joe's, who was crushed by Conquerors, looked very ugly. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Father. As for Zephyr, Liester is not very worried. After all, Admiral's strength lies in it. It is not a simple matter to kill Zephyr. Liester may be able to do it, but he can't do it for Marine. Now only two people can make him do it. One is his master, Zephyr, and the other is the little touch in Liester's heart. Gentle, Makino. Chapter 146. Rear Admiral, just let the Whitebeard pirates go, isn't it? Bruce walked to Rist's side and asked with a puzzled look. Then how about you go up and fight them? Rist raised his brow and said. Forget it then. Bruce is self-aware of his own strength. Although everyone in the Whitebeard pirates is in a bad state, he is only going to give away the head, and he can't play any role. If the captains of Whitebeard had shot him together, he probably wouldn't even have a chance to backhand. I am doing this for your good. If there is a battle with the Whitebeard pirates, these soldiers will inevitably suffer casualties. After all, the Whitebeard pirates are different from other pirates. Even I can't do it. To take care of the safety of all Marines while resisting those few captains. If Iokiji Admiral or Akainu Admiral, if one is here with me, none of the members of this group of Whitebeard pirates can run away. What if it was Garp Vice Admiral? Garp Vice Admiral, such an unreliable person, you should have the answer in your heart. Regarding Garp, Liester had no idea how to evaluate him, and he was also the most invisible person in Liester. Everyone had his own purpose, but he couldn't see what his purpose was in Garp's body. Is it to use your own Marine hero status to pass on Marine information to your son? This is obviously an impossible thing. Let's go to the G5 branch of New World and take a break there. It won't take longer than Kaido and the pirates of Bigumon will soon come to that place. Yes, sir. Although Liester didn't know how they were doing, he would definitely cause a very heavy loss to the three pirate groups. This time, Liester let Whitebeard go, whether Whitebeard will be in the end. Investigating Marine's responsibility this time will still bury this matter in the bottom of my heart, and Riester doesn't know it. But Kaido and Bigumon definitely can't swallow this breath. They're bound to retaliate against Marine, and the G5 Marine branch of New World is their best target for retaliation. After about half a day, Liester and his team finally reached the G5 Marine branch, but when they arrived here, Liester felt that the Marine in this place was not like Marine, but rather like some rogues. Advertisement, but this is not to blame for them. Most of the Marine soldiers who can stay in the G5 branch are directly recruited from New World, and a large part of them are indeed gangsters, and they are also a group of Marines abandoned by the headquarters. Because of the danger level of New World, everyone knows and they also know what their situation is like, so they are fortunate to have been so self-defeating. Although the officers of the G5 branch are changed more frequently, no officer can surrender this group of thorns, even if the strength of the officer is much stronger than them. When Riester arrived at the G5 branch, there was already a group of Marines waiting in line, but looking at their loose formation, coupled with a lazy expression, it was obvious that all were reluctant. Hi, Rear Admiral, I am the commander of the Marine base of the G5 branch, the rank of Vice Admiral, Daraven. Dalavan Vice Admiral, hello. The two shook hands with each other. I have seen List Rear Admiral's style when I was in the headquarters a few years ago. I didn't expect that there would be a day of working with List Rear Admiral. Dalavan said with a smile. Have you seen me before? Rist asked in surprise. Well, after all, you are a direct disciple of Teacher Zephyr. We are the envy of the former students of Teacher Zephyr. When I visited Teacher Zephyr, I was fortunate to have seen you teach those students. It's the same as Zephyr's carved out of a mold. You flatter me. Since he was a former student of Master, then Liester's attitude towards him would naturally not be very indifferent. Cut. Let us line up to welcome someone with great fanfare. I thought it was a big man. It turned out to be a little kid or a blind man. At this moment, a bad voice suddenly reached Riester's ear. Dalavan's face also changed in an instant. Before he had ordered his subordinates to be honest, he didn't expect that there was actually a thorn in the matter here. Hey, what did you soldiers say? Don't you know how to respect the sir? Neither List nor Daraven spoke, but Bruce first reprimanded the Marine. Advertisement. He looked at that seaman's rank was just an ordinary soldier, but he dared to speak such untrained words. I was wrong. Lousy slept comfortably, and was immediately woken up, saying that he would welcome a big person. I thought it was Admiral who came, but I didn't expect it was just an ordinary Rear Admiral. Dalavan's face has become more and more ugly. This seaman can be said to be hitting him in the face naked. The soldiers under him are like this. Doesn't it just mean that the base commander is incapable of teaching him? Although other people also complained more or less, they were all suffocating in their hearts and didn't say anything, but unexpectedly, there really was a stunned boy. Rist Rear Admiral, don't worry, I will put this soldier in confinement immediately and let him reflect on it. Need not. After that, Lister walked up to the soldier. The soldier was also very courageous to look directly at Lister's face, but he couldn't see his eyes. What's your name? Brad. Very well, Brad. Although I am not a big man, and I am not an admiral, but my rank is much higher than yours. Is it possible that you don't know how to respect the sir? Huh, it must also be respecting people with strength. Just like you, a little kid, maybe it depends on the family relationship. I just heard what you said with Chief Dalavan. You are the original admiral. Zephyr's direct disciple. You can become Rear Admiral, maybe it is the reason for Zephyr Admiral. The soldiers at the other G5 bases all looked at Brad with an expression of admiration. They were too courageous to say anything. Shut up. Dalavan said angrily. So you think I was Rear Admiral by the back door? Yes. Ha ha ha, very good, you were really courageous, but do you know that I can decide your life or death in one sentence? Chapter 147 Garp's Wrath. Hearing these words from Lister, a cold sweat broke out on Brad's forehead, because he knew that what Lister said was the truth. Regardless of whether Lister went through the back door to become Marine Rear Admiral, it is too easy for a Rear Admiral to decide the life and death of an ordinary soldier, even if the Rear Admiral may not have real power. In fact, when he first said that sentence, Brad felt a bit of regret in his heart, but his dignity did not allow him to apologize. I know, but so what? I'm not afraid of death. Lister could feel his nervousness to death now, but his mouth was still very hard. Very well, I admire you very much now. Dalavan Vice Admiral, I want this soldier, no problem. Of course there is no problem. In Daraven's heart, this man was just a soldier without any bright spots, and even if it was his adjutant, Lister wanted it, he would give it to the other party without hesitation. No, I don't agree. Brad immediately retorted, but when he finished saying this, he felt as if he was under a huge pressure all over his body. This pressure seemed to make him breathless. What did you say? Riester said with a smile. I agree. That's for me. Although Brad felt that the heavy pressure just disappeared, he now felt that his whole body seemed to be saturated with sweat. Dalavan Vice Admiral, please prepare your soldiers. If nothing else, Kaido and Bigumon might come here in person. What? Daraven was shocked. He knew about this major event that happened in New World in the past 2 days, but he didn't expect the follow-up of this event to be related to their marine. I'll explain this to you later. In short, let's prepare for a full-scale war with Kaido and Aunt Bigumon. I see. Advertisement Dalavan said solemnly, this is really not good news. The order he got was only for them to greet List Rear Admiral, but he didn't expect that there would be such a severe test waiting for them. Although he is a garrison of New World, he has no idea what Marine of the headquarters has done in New World during this period of time. Relax, Garp Vice Admiral is on his way now. Feeling the heavy emotion in Dalavan's heart, Lister said a piece of news that made Dalavan feel fortunate. That's good, with Garp Vice Admiral here, I'm relieved. Although Riester thought he was no weaker than Garp now, but who made him not have Garp's reputation, in order to give Dalavan a stabilizer, Riester had to move Garp out. Afterwards, Lister's group was repaired at the G5 base, and Nablad was naturally assigned to Lister's dormitory. But it may be that Brad's ruthlessness to List at first made him very unwelcome here. But Brad didn't say anything, because he also knew what caused the current situation. He has vowed in his heart secretly now that one day, he will be recognized and respected by these people. Early the next morning, List felt that Garp had arrived. Rist, you be ************* D, dared to calculate the old man. All the way, Riester heard Garp's angry voice, and the anger that was burning with anger wanted to swallow Riester alive. He had a good vacation, and was so distracted by Lister. After that, Riester felt a strong wind hitting him, and the next second, Riester also reacted and threw a punch directly. The big and small fists collided directly together, and the resulting Chi-Jin instantly emptied everything around, whether it was gravel, wooden boxes or people, they were all blown away directly. Rist, you be ************ D. Garp Vice Admiral, don't you be angry, don't I need your help? Rist said with a smile on his face. Seeing Riester's smiling face, Garp was so angry that he couldn't wait to tear up Riester's face directly. Thinking of this, Garp couldn't help but increase the strength on his fist, and Rist had been increasing his strength to compete with him, his expression remained unchanged. Advertisement. You don't want me to face the two monsters Kaido and Bigumon alone, right? Then you can't choose between the two guys Akainu and Aokiji. Why do you choose the old man? Who makes Garp Vice Admiral your strongest? As the saying goes, the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. With such a strong strength, Garp Vice Admiral should shoulder the ability to resist strong enemies. Shit. But in the end, Garp also stopped. I'm telling you, kid, just this time, count me again next time, and promise to beat you out of bed. Garp's heart is not very angry, he just feels very upset. But he couldn't leave Rist here alone, otherwise, when he returned, Zephyr would definitely cut him off. It would be okay if Kaido and Bigumon took turns, but if the two of them came together, Riester's army could not stop them, and even the G5 branch was at risk of annihilation. So this is Riester's plan. Even if Garp doesn't want to carry it in the New World anymore, for his own righteousness, for the justice in his heart, and for the safety of Riester and all the Marines here, Garp will not be able to leave here. Don't worry, Garp Vice Admiral, there won't be a million times. Seeing the look on Riester's face, Garp felt something wrong in his heart, but he couldn't tell what was wrong. Humph. Afterwards, Garp gave a cold snort, turned his head and left. Dolivan Vice Admiral hurriedly greeted him. Although both of them had the same rank of Vice Admiral, their status was very different. At this time, the Marines of the G5 branch also had a change in their views on Riester. They thought that Riester, who became Rear Admiral after going through the back door, had such a strong strength. He punched the Marine hero Garp Vice Admiral. It didn't even fall into a disadvantage. As the guy who walks through the back door that strong. Brad said in shock, his eyes popped out in shock. Don't underestimate our commander. He is the Vice President of Naval Headquarters Academy, instructor, and his rank is not promoted through the back door, but slowly accumulates on his own record. And I warn you again, if you let me hear you ill of the sir again, don't blame me for being rude to you. You know, he is also your chief now. Quote. Chapter 148. The soldiers on the Riester and Garp warships are now officially repaired in the G5 base. They have been drifting in the sea for a while, and they have participated in a lot of battles, so they are now both physically and mentally very tired. Riester Rear Admiral, Garp Vice Admiral, when will the Beast Kaido and Ant Bigum come? Daravan said with a worried look that he had given Garp Vice Admiral the most comfortable chair in his office. Although the arrival of Garp made Daravan's confidence greatly increased, the strength of Marine in their base is really not very good. They have almost never experienced systematic training. It would be good to be able to shoot back. If they are allowed to follow the enemy. Right cut, that is to let them die. Who knows, it depends on when they will find that their affiliated pirate regiments have been wiped out. Rist lifted the teacup in front of him, took a sip of hot tea and said, without a trace of worry on his face. It's okay, as long as those two people dare to come, the old man can beat them to the ground and call them grandpa. Garp said grinningly that since there is no senbei here, Garp can only drink tea in large guts, almost one sip in a cup of tea. That's good, with Garp Vice Admiral here, I'm relieved. Garp's words can be said to have given Daravan a lot of self-confidence, and it also made him relieve the heart in his throat. Although he has been in the G5 branch for a long time, he has never faced off against the two guys Kaido and Ant Bigum, and he doesn't know the specific strength of these two guys. But to be nominated as a pirate alongside Whitebeard, that strength is certainly not weak, so even if he has not met, Daravan is very self-aware. As soon as time flies, 3 days have passed. During these 3 days, New World has always maintained a very calm state. But today, the appearance of a piece of news in the newspaper has made the world full of controversy again. The content in the newspaper is written like this. 6 days ago, the Whitebeard pirates fought a battle with Beasts pirates and Ant pirates in Wano-Kuni. The specific outcome is unknown, but the battle ended with Whitebeard's retreat. During the battle of the 3 major overlords of the New World, Marine took the opportunity to annihilate the Whitebeard pirates, Beasts pirates, and the affiliated pirates of the Ant pirates. World's most impressive record. Quote. Looking at the content of the report, this news was not released by Marine, and apart from the world government, the only person with such great energy is the news agency president, Birdman Morgans. Morgans this B****************. D. Advertisement. Sengoku scolded after seeing the news. The news reported by Morgans was indeed correct and accurate, but it seriously affected Marine's reputation among people. After Morgans reported such a report, Marine became a villain who only secretly attacked, which had a serious impact on Marine's reputation. Had it not been for Morgans, who had a pivotal position in the world government had long wanted to serve him in a pot, and then stew it in an iron pot. Of course, in the past few days, whether it is Kaido, Bigumum or Whitebeard, they have all received news that their men have been wiped out. If we want to come to such a quiet day, we can't last long. This was the first sentence Riester said when he heard the contents of the newspaper. Garp and Dolivan also agreed with Riester's words. If this news was not revealed, it is estimated that Kaido and Bigumum would be able to endure it for a while, but it would be different if it was revealed. If they didn't do anything to Marine, it would also be a blow to their reputation among the pirates. Marine bastards, dare to do this thing about fishing in troubled waters. Kaido had already received the news on the second day after the war, but since his injuries had not fully recovered at the time, he temporarily suppressed the matter in his heart. We will retaliate against Marine in the future. But now, his plan for revenge has been advanced. There is also Bigumum who has the same idea. He originally wanted to wait for the injury to heal, and then start working on Marine's branch in New World, and teach Marine a lesson, let them know that New World is not for them to get involved. But Morgans had completely exploded this matter, and naturally couldn't hide it anymore. At present, his injuries are already in good order, so she feels that she is ready to take action on the Marine branch of New World. The idea of Whitebeard pirates is completely different from that of Beasts pirates and Ant pirates. Whitebeard had been in a coma for 3 days before waking up, and when he woke up, it happened to be the news that had just been released. Where am I? After waking up, Whitebeard asked in a hoarse voice. Father, we have returned to our turf. Advertisement. When Whitebeard woke up, all the Whitebeard crew were very excited, and Marco immediately answered Whitebeard's question. This time it's the old man who is sorry for you. What, Marine, how dare they? Let's go. Marco, what happened again? Daddy can still bear it now. When Whitebeard thought about it, he knew who among Marines could come up with such an insidious conspiracy. As soon as he saw the faces of the people, Whitebeard knew it, and it must be bad news again. Father, there is one more news to tell you. Marco, say, what the hell happened? Don't hide it from me. Sengoku, it's your track again. Marco smiled reluctantly. Although the children are also close to each other, the pirates who have not boarded his mobile, Whitebeard has a normal relationship with them, but they are also his Whitebeard people. How dare Marine do anything with them? At this time, Joe said something. But this time, it can be said that because of my own selfishness, my children have suffered heavy losses. Father, it's okay. Hearing Marco's words, Whitebeard immediately became angry. It is said that men have tears and do not flick, let alone a man like Whitebeard, but now, he really can't control his tears. Every one of his children is his relatives. Father, it's Marine. Marine took advantage of our fight with Kaido and Auntie, and gave all those who joined our pirate group a pot. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Marco immediately reprimanded him and prevented Joes from saying the next thing. He already knew what Joes wanted to say. Shut up, Joes. Chapter 149 The Attitude of the Tripartite Pirate Group. But, Daddy, this time Marine let us off again. Immediately afterwards, Marco spoke again. He looked at Whitebeard's posture just now, and it was obvious that he wanted to seek revenge from Marine. Oh, what's the situation? Afterwards, Marco told Whitebeard about the way he met Riester and was led off by Riester. After listening, Whitebeard also fell into contemplation. He is now thinking about this matter, how he should do it. If they were to avenge Marine, it would appear that the Whitebeard pirates had some kindness and revenge, but if they did not avenge, he would be sorry for his sons who died in Marine's hands. But it was not only our Whitebeard pirates that were wiped out by Marine. Even Beast's pirates and Ant pirates also suffered a devastating blow from Marine, causing very heavy losses. Originally, the size of Beast's pirates and the Ant pirates was not as big as the Whitebeard pirates, so such a blow would definitely be regarded as painful to them. With the personalities of Kaido and Bigumum, I think I wouldn't let those Marines go. So, Father, what should we do now? Quote. Marco asked Whitebeard. Just letting them go. He still has a slight affection for Riester, but this does not mean that he has a good affection for Marine. Let's go to the G5 branch of Marine to see the situation first. Yes, old man. But Dad, this time you must never make a move, your body needs more rest. Quote. Lousy has not yet reached the point where you can worry about it, so you have to take care of your own affairs. This time, Lousy has seen that your strength is too weak. Next, you will double the training for me. Yes, old man. Advertisement. Garp and Riester in the G5 branch also got some news at the same time. According to reports from the spies who monitored the three pirate groups, Kaido, Bigumum and Whitebeard all rushed towards the G5 branch. Even Whitebeard is here. This was really out of Riester's expectation. He thought he had let the Whitebeard pirates go, and Whitebeard would not attack them this time, but obviously, he was thinking too much. In fact, there is another very important reason why Riester didn't make a shot against Whitebeard last time. That is, he has always had an ambition, and this ambition is to obtain the ability of Whitebeard Shock Fruit. If he had eliminated Whitebeard last time, then he might never want to obtain the ability of Shock Fruit. The last one that can replicate the position of Devil Fruit, Rist must leave him to Shock Fruit, a Devil Fruit with the power to destroy the world, and a Devil Fruit like a natural disaster, who doesn't want it? It's not that Riester is superficial, but Shock Fruit is so tempting. Even if you don't get Shock Fruit, you feel sorry for your ability. Riester now has several Shock Fruit abilities. Except for the wooden fruit at the beginning, Kizaru's sparkling fruit is an accident, but this unexpected fruit is the one that Riester most commonly used in battle and daily life. Fruit. After all, it can be said to be a powerful tool, shiny, and very card face. Of course, it can be said that Riester is superficial here. The rest of Renren fruit, Big Buddha form and lion fruit are rarely used. After all, the shape of everyone fruit and Big Buddha is too conspicuous. If sparkling fruit says that there are similar fruits, it is understandable, but it can't be similar to the shape of Big Buddha. As for lion fruit, Riester has no chance to use it at all. He feels that he doesn't need this fruit at all. These three people are here, doesn't it mean that our small branch is facing three big pirates? If only Kaido and Bigumum were the only ones, Darabon would be better off, but Whitebeard would be different. He has experienced it from the peak of Whitebeard, so he knows the horror of Whitebeard, and knows that when he was with the Sengoku fleet, he also saw Whitebeard shot with his own eyes. The ability to destroy the world is still a shadow in his heart. Okay, then the G5 branch will ask you to. Advertisement. Once, almost a majority of Marines who have seen Whitebeard battles had to receive a certain amount of psychological treatment when they return to the headquarters. So even if they are arrogant in front of outsiders, most of them will be obedient in front of Dalavan. This is not to say that Darabon was cowardly. He was able to follow Marshal Sengoku's warship. It is enough to show that he is an elite Marine. It can only be said that Whitebeard is too terrifying. The shadow of Whitebeard, this is an undeniable fact. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Another day passed, when the G5 base suddenly remembered the sound of an alarm. Don't worry, even if Whitebeard does appear with Kaido and Bigumum at the same time, they will not join hands. Don't forget, there is still a deep grievance between them. When Whitebeard will help, who will really not? Sure. Seeing Daravan's attitude, Garp and Riester's attitude became serious. Even if Whitebeard doesn't deal with Marine with Kaido and Bigum, he won't help Marine deal with Kaido and Bigum. The greatest possibility is to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. Although the Marines in the G5 base are not very obedient, they still respect him as the base commander. After all, they all respect powerful people. Daravan's strength is enough to crush them all. He really couldn't bear to watch these Marines die in front of him. Moreover, there is Garp Vice Admiral. What are you afraid of? Even Whitebeard has taken the shot. You must know that Garp Vice Admiral is the Marine who has driven One Piece Roger into desperation several times, so you can rest assured, it will definitely keep your G5 branch. Of course, the last sentence belonged to Rist's nonsense, but he didn't want Dalavan to mess up the army before he went on the battlefield. Relax, after all, the G5 base is also part of Marine. After speaking, Daravan stood up and bowed deeply to Riester and Garp. After all, the strength that Whitebeard showed during the peak period completely surpassed their cognition. Woo, woo, woo. They have been here for 3 days, and they have completely figured out what kind of temperament the Marine of this base is, but they did not expect that Daravan should have such a deep affection for them. Chapter 150 Garp vs Bigumum. Come yet. Resting while resting, Riester immediately came to the spirit. His observation hockey could be said to be more useful than the alarm. Before the alarm went off, Riester felt the presence of a person. Is it Bigumum? With his breath alone, Rist had already recognized who was the first to come over. After all, this G5 branch was still relatively close to the nations, so it was normal for Bigumum to be the first to arrive. Afterwards, Riester, Garp, and Daravan appeared directly on the square of the G5 branch. This is the most empty place in the G5 branch. Undoubtedly, it will also become the battlefield of this battle. Dalavan's expression was solemn, and people who didn't know thought he was about to face the test of death. The expressions on Riester and Garp's faces looked very relaxed. The two of them weren't able to suppress a little pigum. It was over. I saw that Bigum was riding a thundercloud toward the direction of the G5 branch and drove over quickly. As that Bigumum, Dalavan said in a heavy tone. It was the first time he met Bigumma. This sense of oppression reminded him of Whitebeard. No wonder it's a character on the same level as Whitebeard in the ocean. He is really a real monster. Garp, you Marine bastards, with a cloak of justice, but never doing justice. As soon as he saw Garp, Bigum's eyes showed blood red, and he seemed to think of his dead men. For them, as long as New World still has pirates entering, they will have as many men as they want. How many? But this time, Marine actually gave her all the hard work of the past few years, which made her not angry, so let alone Garp, even if the 3 Admiral gathered, she would not hesitate to choose to shoot. And at present, in this G5 branch, apart from Garp, no one can enter her eyes. A blind man and a trash, this is what Bigum thinks of Riest and Daravan. And she knew that Kaido would also be a general in a while, so if it was 2-1, Bigumum couldn't think of any reason to lose. Tisk, have you been ignored? Feeling that Bigumum's gaze didn't stop too much on his body, Riest knew that the other party didn't care about him. But it doesn't matter. Advertisement. Riest's idea has never been put on Bigum's body, but has always been on the body of Kaido, the beast, the shame he had suffered 10 years ago, this time he must be ashamed. Weo. I saw that Bigumum took the lead, and a powerful sword aura slammed directly at the 3 of Garp. Daravan was almost frightened by this sword aura, but fortunately, Riest next to him and Garp in front of him gave him a full sense of security. Seeing that Riest didn't want to do anything with him, Garp could only take the lead. Iron Fist. I saw armament hockey attached to Garp's fist, and Garp's fist was dark and shiny with armament hockey. Then with a punch, it blasted above that sword aura, and the huge sword aura was instantly under Garp's iron fist, smashing into pieces. Seeing this scene, only Dalavan's face changed, and the faces of the other 3 did not change. Regarding Garp's ability to smash his own sword energy, Bigumum had no surprises. This was really normal. She didn't use her full strength with this move. As for Riester, it's not surprising. If Garp can't even do this, it's better to just give up the name of the Marine hero. Dalavan, you step back first, you won't be able to participate in the next battle. Yes, Garp Vice Admiral. Daravan also knew his own strength, and the blow just now made him recognize the difference in strength between them. Riest, you are not going to make a move? Garp asked Riester curiously. He knew that Riester was shaking his hands with excitement because of the battle between them a few days ago. He didn't believe that Bigum was not attractive to Riester. Well, Bigumum will give you Garp Vice Admiral. Kaido will give it to me. Okay, then Kaido will be handed over to you. Garp naturally knew that Riester had had a grievance with Kaido. If Zephyr hadn't arrived in time, Riester might have been gone now, and Riester would naturally not be able to swallow the bad breath with peace of mind. Afterwards, Garp and Bigumum fought fiercely together. If Garp's pair of iron fists were serious, Riest would not be able to resist it. Advertisement. With the momentum exuding from those fists, Riest didn't dare to confront those fists head-on. Is this the real strength of Marine heroes? This is also the first time Riester has seen Garp show such terrifying power. It's really hidden deep enough. Since Roger's death, Garp has rarely shot like this, because he has rarely encountered anyone worthy of his full shot. Even this time, Rist doesn't know if Garp has shot with all his strength, or if he still has some reservations. Garp's iron fist collided with Bigumum's long sword, and every time it collided, Bigumum would step back a few steps, and she couldn't stand Garp's strength at all. That guy Kaido, why isn't he here yet? Bigum's heart gritted his teeth and thought, he didn't know why, and he didn't know if it was her illusion. He felt that playing against Garp was more exhausted than against Whitebeard. Distraction in battle is a taboo. Didn't your captain teach you this before? Garp seized the distracting space of Bigumum in an instant, got close in front of Bigumum, and blasted him into the stomach with a punch. Directly hit Bigumum's belly in circles, and his body quickly flew towards the back. It was about to fall into the sea. At this time, a thundercloud suddenly caught Bigum's body. Mom, are you okay? Zeus asked concerned. Mom, that old man is not easy to fight. Napoleon, the knife in Biguma's hand, also said, as the thing that has directly confronted Garp's iron fist, he naturally knows how hard and powerful Garp's iron fist is. If you don't fight, you have to fight, or you won't be able to swallow this bad breath in old age. After that, Bigumum used Zeus as a springboard and jumped to Garp again, and raised Napoleon, trying to beat Garp. Is that right? Feeling the aura exuding from Biguma at this time, Garp grinned. The Biguma just now made him unable to enjoy himself at all. Chapter 151 Kaido. The speed of Kaido is too slow. Seeing the collision between Garp and Bigumum, Rist's blood boiled involuntarily. He wanted to fight such an intensity, and he wanted to join such a fight. Riester was really impatient now. If Riester hadn't seen Garp's fighting fun, he wouldn't mind playing a 2-on-1 with Garp. It is estimated that if he shoots now, Garp is likely to turn his face against him. The other Marines in the G5 base have already looked at them. Before, they didn't even know how big the world was. But today, they know that even if they are a little closer to the battle, there may be no bones left. After all, Bigum's attack was not only a sword, but also a flame and a sky thunder. At this moment, Rist was sitting on a gravel, with Erlang's legs tilted, shaking constantly, one hand on his chin, and one finger out of his face, constantly tapping. There are indications that Riester is a little impatient now. Kaido, you fellow can't come anymore, Laozi is going to Wano Kuni to kill you. Rist thought anxiously in his heart. Wow, Riester Rear Admiral can still be in danger in that situation. It's really amazing. At this time, people watching the battle from a distance noticed that Riester was sitting not far from the battlefield, and the admiration for Riester in his heart couldn't help but rush like a surging river. See it, that is the strength of our chief. Although it is only the rank of Rear Admiral, his strength is enough to stand alongside Admiral, even stronger than Admiral. At this time, a soldier on the Riester warship flaunted to Brad, and there was a hint of exaggeration in his words involuntarily. Is it stronger than Admiral? Brad muttered these words silently. Admiral is already Marine's highest combat power, and the man he mocked in front of everyone the other day actually has the highest combat power of naval headquarters. Is it finally here, Kaido? Perceiving Kaido's breath, Riester stood up immediately. Riester Rear Admiral has moved. Is it possible that he wants to deal with Bigumum with Garp Vice Admiral? Although this is a bit despicable, it is nothing if he can defeat the big pirate. One of the Marines spoke. And Garp and Bigumum also stopped tacitly at this time. Advertisement. I saw that the originally clear sky became densely clouded in an instant, a huge figure looming in the dark cloud, lightning and thunder, even more so that the huge figure in the sky increased its deterrent. What is that? A seaman pointed at the sky and said blankly, Kaido's way of playing is much more deterrent than Bigum's way of playing. That's the big pirate, Kaido, the beast. Dolovan's tone was also a little muddled. He just saw what that figure was, it was a giant dragon. I saw that a bolt of lightning suddenly fell on Bigum's side, and a majestic figure appeared from the lightning. It is Kaido, the beast. Kaido, D came too slowly. You can't hold on, Lin. The tone of his speech is simply a mockery of Bigumum. HMPH, Garp is not so easy to deal with. He is the one who killed Captain Rox. You should know how terrifying Captain Rox is. Rox. Kaido's face changed when he heard the three words Rox. Kaido, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Rist shouted excitedly. Hearing Liester's voice, Kaido also turned his head and looked in Liester's direction. The expression on his face looked a little confused, as if he was reminiscing about who the blind man was. Suddenly, a figure appeared in his mind, and a long-lasting memory slowly surfaced in his mind. A conqueror's haki crushed one of his own marine imp, a marine imp with the strength of a great swordsman, and a marine imp with the ability similar to sparkling fruit. It really impressed Kaido at the beginning. It's just that Kaido hasn't heard about Riester since then, thinking he is dead. Marine boy, you are not dead yet. Advertisement. Hearing Kaido's words, the excitement on Riester's face stopped abruptly. On the other hand, Garp laughed aloud beside him. Ha ha ha, Riester, Kaido thought you were dead, ha ha ha. From Garp's body, I can't feel any nervousness at all, even if there are two big pirates standing in front of him, it seems that Garp has absolute confidence in his own strength. However, a mere defeated general dared to appear in front of me. He was so courageous. There is no Zephyr to save you this time. Kaido, this time, who was running in a hurry, but it doesn't necessarily matter. After speaking, Rist directly pulled out the seal, and his body instantly appeared in front of Kaido, slashing towards the opponent one by one. Kaido didn't know why. It might be because of the big support. Instead of resisting with his own weapons, Kaido directly blocked him with his arms. However, after a stroke, Kaido didn't expect the scene where he blocked Lister, but Lister's sword directly left a wound on his body. Kaido, I am not who I was 10 years ago. If you are so careless, your neck may be the next time you hit. Marine kid, you die for lousy. He was hurt by a kid, Kaido couldn't bear it anymore. He directly picked up the mace and swiped it in the direction of Rist. And Riester also avoided the situation. He was not so stupid to Kaido, standing there waiting for others to chop. One of the most surprising was naturally Bigumum. He didn't expect Kaido's skin to be broken open by a kid he had never looked down upon. Linlin, you hold on to Garp first, and wait until Lousy finishes solving this kid, then come to help you. Then you have to hurry up. Garp, a mad dog, go crazy, no one can stop it. Afterwards, the four were divided into two teams and collided together, Garp and Bigumum, and Rist and Kaido. Kaido, I have been waiting for 10 years in order to wait for a day. This time, I am ready to pay my life. There are too many people who want Lousy's life, such as Whitebeard. If you can take Lousy's head away, you can try it and see if you have that skill. Chapter 152. Thunder 8 Trigrams. As soon as Kaido came up, it was his own signature style, and the mace carrying the power of thunder and lightning smashed directly in the direction of Rist. One sword style night music passed out. In the face of Kaido's thunderous 8 trigrams, Lister didn't dare to resist, but now the era of Lister's solemnity has passed. Passing away is another move created by Rist in addition to Night Melody Nirvana. If Nirvana is a sword move for long-range attacks, then Nirvana is a sword move for close-range attacks. I saw that Riester's knife swung upwards and hit Kaido's thunder 8 trigrams frontally. It was clear that Riester's knife had not swung a full circle, but there was a circular sword energy beside him. The two powerful attacks collided directly, and the two huge conquerors' hockey seemed to get a hearty catharsis in this one, and the sky split directly because of the collision between the two. All the dark clouds were also blasted away by the collision between the two of them this time. At this moment, Lister had completely revealed his edge. I didn't expect that there would be such a whole card in Marine, a person who can fight the big pirate Kaido. In a place unknown to everyone, on one side in the distant sky, a huge white bird is constantly holding a camera and taking a full range of sneak shots of the entire battlefield. Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral Rist. I only heard the name, but didn't see the person. No picture circulated from Marine's hands. I really did not expect that Marine would protect a person so well. Quote. When Lister worked at Sabayati Archipelago, many reporters secretly took pictures of Lister, but I don't know why, none of them were circulated, but the current news was obtained by Morgans. Other newspapers may be pressured by the world government to delete news about Lister, but his newspaper will not. It can be said that 80% of the world's newspaper sales are all in the hands of their newspapers. In fact, it can't be said that the four of Lister did not find the news bird that was photographed in the distance, but they did not pay attention to each other's thoughts now, and now their main targets were on their opponents. Faced with Garp, Bigumum naturally went all out, but although Garp was able to fight against Bigumum, he did not dare to have the slightest distraction in the battle. After all, the gap between them could be possible at any time. He was seriously injured because of a momentary distraction. As for Kaido, he was completely shocked by Lister's current strength. Lister's current strength turned out to be evenly matched with him, and even slightly suppressed him. Rist completely focused on the pleasure of revenge. Facing Kaido, all of Rist's inner thoughts were to wash away the shame he once brought to himself. Advertisement. It was released and collided several times with one stick and one knife. Even though Kaido is only in a normal form, his form is enough to crush 99% of the people on the sea, but now he can't even hold a marine imp. When Kaido first visited Lister, he knew that this kid would definitely become a formidable opponent of him in the future, so his plan at the time was to kill Lister in the cradle. But first the guy Kizaru joined, and then Zephyr's rescue, so Kaido never had a chance to kill Rist. I really regretted letting you go, Kaido said viciously during a collision with Lister. No, you didn't have the ability to kill me at all. Before Zephyr arrived, Rist had almost consumed Kaido with Kizaru. If Kaido insisted on continuing to fight with them, he could only be arrested in the end. Humph. Because Riester was telling the truth, Kaido had nothing to refute. Baguma is very miserable now, she can't say that her own strength is not enough, only Garp can be blamed for being too strong. At present, none of these pirates in the sea should be Garp's opponent alone. Even Whitebeard, Rist can feel that Garp should be able to suppress him steadily. You know, Garp is a representative figure who has trained his body to a certain level. It can be said that he is almost the top person in the pirate world. In order to practice boxing, you can smash a mountain with one punch. This is something that Rist can't do. He can't do it with physical strength alone. He must rely on other abilities he possesses. Even for Whitebeard, Rist didn't think he could crash a mountain with his body, but he could use Shock Fruit's ability. Kaido, can you handle that kid? Bigum yelled to Kaido immediately. Baguma now has a feeling of being teased by Garp. No matter what kind of power she bursts out, Garp's power always suppresses him steadily. In fact, when Riester and Kaido faced off for the first time, Bagumum had a bad premonition in his heart. Knowing that the kid couldn't be solved so easily, he didn't expect this premonition to come true. Advertisement. Shut up, you old woman. Kaido, to be honest, the bigger you are with Riester, the greater his anger, because he has never been able to suppress Riester. Kaido, take out your strongest form, otherwise you will have no chance of winning. After another fight, Rist said to Kaido. Only by defeating Kaido in the orc state, Rist can completely come out of the shadow of the last failure. I don't need to deal with you yet. If this is the case, then I can only force you to use it. One sword style darkness death. Kaido clearly felt that the aura exuding from Riester's body was different from just now, and it was even better than before. The sky seemed to be eclipsed because of this sword. What's the matter? Why are you graying out? Don't tell me, so are you. The Marines who were watching the game were suddenly a little frightened. In fact, this is just that Riester's sword intent has exploded to a certain extent, directly causing the function of color processing in everyone's eyes to temporarily fail. All those who witnessed Riester's blow are like a color blind. In an instant, a black sword aura was directly swung out by Rist. This is the most powerful one Riester has used since the master died. Chapter 153 Whitebeard arrives. Not good. Kaido's heart was madly warning. This sword aura gave a sense of danger, a danger that could hurt his life. Afterwards, Kaido was no longer in the support, and his body exuded fiery red heat, and then the body of the whole person changed drastically. The dragon scales covered his body, and his pupils became beast pupils. I saw Kaido folded his hands on his chest, and when Riester's nirvana hit Kaido, I saw that the friction between the sword energy and Kaido's body even produced sparks, and kept pushing Kaido's body backwards. Retreat. Ah, UB asterisk 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 D. I just heard Kaido let out a roar, and then a very powerful force exploded with both hands, and he directly said with both hands, that the extinguished sword aura was directly shattered by the powerful spirit emanating from Kaido. Wow, this is really a big news that can make a sensation in the world, and the new world's largest swordsman was born. Morgan's hovering in the sky made a sound of admiration from time to time. Although his own fighting strength is not very good, as the world's largest newspaper president, he is naturally very knowledgeable. He also saw several relatively large and fierce battles, so he could see Riester's superb kendo talent at a glance. As for whether Riester is the world's #1 swordsman, Morgans doesn't know, he only knows that such a gimmick can usher in a surge in the sales of his newspaper. And he can't be regarded as the title party, because Riester's kendo strength is the strongest person he has seen so far. It seems that even the world's largest swordsman, Golden Lion, can't match him. Kaido, who forcibly shattered the sword aura of Nirvana, was not good. After all, the sword aura just now used Rist's 80% kendo strength. At this point, Kaido had completely placed Riester on the same level as himself. That kid is so strong. When Riester released the sword, Garp and Bigumum both stopped their hands with a tacit understanding. After all, Riester's sword move was so terrifying that they would look at them unconsciously. Was attracted to the past. Paikumamu was also a great swordsman, so his understanding of kendo is much better than Kaido and Garp, so she knows how terrifying Rist's sight is. After all, the great swordsman is far away. The land surpassed him. This time, Baguma had the idea of retreating. Advertisement. After all, it was too uncomfortable for her to face Garp alone, and it is still a problem whether Kaido can solve the Marine Kid, and Kaido's injuries in the last battle with Whitebeard have not fully recovered. So now Baguma is very worried that Kaido will eventually be defeated by that Marine. Have those people fought against each other? At this time, the Whitebeard pirates also quietly came to the vicinity of Marine's G5 Marine base, but they did not directly join the battle, because Whitebeard does not know which side to attack. After all, both sides all his enemies. Father, this is really such a strong momentum. Whitebeard's mobile is like a small boat in this momentum, constantly drifting in the huge waves of the sea. Well, after all, there is a Garp in Marine, and a very powerful kendo mood. Whitebeard felt a little bit, and he almost understood the situation on the battlefield. It's really a powerful sword intent. The captain of the 5th Division of the Whitebeard pirate group, Bista, also felt this powerful sword intent, and a belligerent expression appeared on his face. It seems that I can't wait to fight someone with this sword intent. Bista, this kind of battle is too early for you. Although I don't understand kendo, I know that all the strong are trained step by step on their own. Now you are facing that guy. May not even support one move. Whitebeard didn't hit Bista's self-confidence, but told the truth. With the strength of a swordsman like Bista, it is difficult to find a decent kendo opponent in New World, so this also gave Bista a glimmer of confidence that he shouldn't have. That guy may have strength no weaker than mine. I see, old man. He really couldn't figure out why Riester would do this now. Advertisement. As Whitebeard here too, Marco asked Whitebeard. Father, what should we do now? As for whether Naval Headquarters ordered him to let him go, Whitebeard didn't even think about it with his A. The guy from Sengoku and the people from the world government could not wait to kill his Whitebeard pirates. It was impossible. I missed this opportunity, so this is definitely the young Marine's own thoughts. Immediately after swiftly swinging forward, his fist hits the atmosphere, and the atmosphere suddenly cracks the glass. Among the members of the Whitebeard pirate group, there was some joy in their hearts. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. So he knew that if Riester really shot them at that time, they might really wipe out their Whitebeard pirates. When Whitebeard could feel the aura of their fighting, they naturally felt the strong aura from Whitebeard's body. Even if they did not deliberately release their aura, as long as they stood there, it was an existence that could not be ignored. Beasta lowered his head and said humbly. However, Whitebeard did not answer Marco's words, but walked directly to the bow, the muscles on his right arm bursting, and the white transparent halo covered his fist. But when he felt the kendo strength exuding from Rist's body, Whitebeard overturned the thoughts in his heart just now. Even though he was very confident in his children, he was also very aware of their strength. Whether it's Garp, Riester or Kaido, Big Umam's heart sinks, because they can't figure out what Whitebeard's intention is, because now no matter which side Whitebeard joins, the battle will change dramatically. Can be judged by the old man as a person who is not weaker than him. If Riester shot them at the beginning, they would definitely be wiped out. Whitebeard felt he had to talk to the young marine now. But what is thinking in that kid's mind? This is the question in Whitebeard's mind. At first, he heard Marco's explanation, thinking that Riester was an ordinary rear admiral or vice admiral level strength. He didn't want to fight them because he wanted to let them go, but feel that he has no chance of Chapter 154 Lion Fruit's ability revealed. We withdraw. Afterwards, Whitebeard ordered his children that he had targeted the entire Marine G5 branch in the previous blow. It can be said that both Kaido Begum and Garp List were within the target range of Whitebeard's blow. Middle. Feeling the momentum that Whitebeard exploded just now, all four of them stopped their hands very tacitly, because they knew that Whitebeard had taken the shot. As the world's top powerhouse, their senses are very keen, even without observation hockey. The flow rate of the air has changed. Although they didn't know what Whitebeard did, they knew that Whitebeard must have shot them. Everyone was waiting for Whitebeard's attack to come. Kaido, Begum, Garp, and Rist were rare to unite the front and did not attack each other. Garp Vice Admiral, why didn't Riester Rear Admiral fight? A marine who was watching the game spoke up. I don't know either, but Kaido and Big Umam didn't take any action either. Seeing their expressions seemed to be waiting for something. It didn't take these marines for long, the answer was already ready. I saw that a huge wave was thinking about their G5 base rushing over. No, such a large area can no longer be called a wave, it can already be called a tsunami. That be ******** D Whitebeard. Kaido immediately turned into a blue dragon and flew into the air. Big Umam also rode on Zeus and stayed in the air. Both of them are demon fruit power. If the tsunami were to catch them, they would lose at least half of their combat power. As for helping Marine guard the G5 base, unless Kaido and Big Umam had their heads punctured, otherwise they would never do such a thankless thing. So now Kaido and Big Umam are hovering in the air, waiting to watch Marine's jokes, which can also be said to be watching Garp and Riester face the tsunami. That won't be a tsunami. The Marines were stunned when they saw the nearly 100-meter-high tsunami. Will your G5 branch still experience a tsunami? A soldier on the Riester warship asked the soldiers in the G5 base. No, I've seen it for the first time in so many years. Advertisement. The soldier swallowed, his eyes full of unbelievable expressions. The sudden appearance of the tsunami directly broke their cognition and broke common sense. That be ******** D Whitebeard will really trouble you. Garp's expression is also rare, showing a trace of solemnity. If this tsunami does not come out well, then the entire G5 base will suffer heavy losses. Boy, you leave too, just leave it to me here. No, Garp Vice Admiral, it's better to step back, leave this tsunami to me alone. You sure? There was a suspicious look in Garp's eyes. He didn't believe in Riester, he just didn't know if Riester could handle this matter perfectly. Even if Garp wants to break through the tsunami and cannot damage the G5 branch, it is a somewhat difficult thing. I'm sure. Garp Vice Admiral, don't worry about it. Don't forget that I have the ability of Golden Lion Fruit. Hearing this, Garp was stunned for a moment. He had already forgotten that Riester still has the abilities of Golden Lion and Sengoku, but now Riester has been using swordsmanship and Kaido again, and none of Devil Fruit's abilities have been used. Okay, I'll leave it to you. However, Garp's muscles are still tight. As long as he finds that something is not right, Garp can guarantee that he can make an instant shot. Rist naturally noticed Garp's movements, but he didn't care. After all, even if Garp took the shot, he would be the same, because they only believed in their own strength. Facing the nearly 100-meter-high tsunami, Riester stood alone in front of the tsunami. In the face of the power of nature, Riester's figure seemed so small, but his back was shown to those watching Marine. We have a complete sense of security. Unexpectedly, the ability of Golden Lion Fruit would come in handy here. Rist was also a little helpless in his heart. I saw that when the tsunami was about to be photographed like the G5 base, Rist directly touched the tsunami with the wind, and the tsunami was directly stopped. What's happening here? Except for Garp, everyone had a dumbfounded expression. Rise. Following Riester's order, the tsunami soared directly into the air, and under Riester's control, it flew directly over the G5 branch. Advertisement. Originally, it can be split with a sword, but it is more troublesome to do so, and it may not be able to deal with it completely, so it is safest to use Lion Fruit's ability. This reminds me of that old lion. Seeing this scene, Kaido narrowed his eyes and said, "Me too. They are all people who were on the same ship as Golden Lion, so they can often see this scene. After all, almost they encountered this large tsunami, and it was Golden Lion who took the initiative to solve it, otherwise it was Whitebeard. It seems that the kid's secret is still very deep." Kaido still clearly remembers in his mind that when Riester fought him 10 years ago, the ability he used was similar to the ability of Sparkling Fruit, and now he has used another ability similar to that of Lion Fruit. All G5 Marines are shrouded in the shadow of this tsunami, for fear that the tsunami will fall directly. In this case, then the entire G5 base will suffer. It's really a waste of energy. Since Riester seldom develops Lion Fruit's abilities, it is not pure enough for Lion Fruit to control such a large piece of seawater. It is still very exhausting for Riester and cannot be distracted by the slightest. Finally, a piece of seawater flew directly over the G5 base, and everyone was involuntarily relieved. Alive. This is all the inner thoughts of Marine at the G5 base. The piece of water above them directly suppressed their hearts a lot. "Do you want to fight anymore?" Big asked Kaido. "If I want to hit you, Lousy won't be with me anymore." After speaking, Kaido flew away directly. Seeing this scene, Paikumum naturally couldn't stay there anymore. This battle is over. It can be said that the blow by Whitebeard just ended the battle. Perhaps this was not Whitebeard's original intention, but it had an unexpected effect. Chapter 155. Seeing the departure of Kaido and Bigumum, all Marines in the entire G5 base were relieved. Garp Vice Admiral, Riester Rear Admiral, thank you, otherwise, my G5 base may no longer exist. Donovan Vice Admiral walked in front of the two of them, and said a little after a while. I just felt the aura emanating from Bigumum and Kaido. Dolovan's heart was already in his throat. Fortunately, Lister and Garp are relatively strong, and they played Kaido and Bigumum all the time. Okay, Kid Riester, I'll leave it to you here, I won't be with you anymore. After speaking, Garp ordered the soldiers on his warship to leave. He didn't want to stay in New World for a moment. Then Garp Vice Admiral, go slowly and be careful all the way. FK off. Garp said angrily. Under normal circumstances, he has arrived at the headquarters now, and he is even on his way to East Blue, but now he hasn't left New World yet. All this is given by Barrister. Quack, if nothing else, this news will definitely be violent. Morgans looked at the photo in the camera with a wild smile, as if he had already seen this news of himself, which caused a wave of waves in the world again. With his current status, it is not only the penny earned from selling newspapers, but also not much money at all from selling newspapers. The kind-hearted ones might give money, and the unkind ones would just grab them. Some people even roasted his news birds, so the newspapers he sold didn't make any money at all, and even lost money. But as one of the giants in the underground world, he naturally has other ways to make money. After everyone in the base bid farewell to Garp Vice Admiral, the entire G5 base fell into calm again, except that it was different from the past in that there was one more Riester seated in it. Seeing the strength of Lister, they feel that they are very at ease in the base now, and their safety has been guaranteed. On the second day after the end of this battle, almost all places in the world have received news about this battle. This time, Lister can be said to be completely famous in the world and completely exposed to the public's vision. NS. Advertisement. I have to say that Morgans is very fast. The title is, Marine's Secret Weapon, Headquarters Rear Admiral, Lister. Close double angle bracket. The picture is a scene of a confrontation between Riester and Kaido. I have to say that this photo was taken very well, taking both the calmness on Riester's face and the hideousness on Kaido's face. In an instant, this news set off a wave of storms in the world. As some people who know the strength of Lister, I don't care about it, but for those people who only know Lister's name, or who have never heard of Lister, it is undoubtedly a huge wave in their hearts. After all, is it exposed, Lister's strength? This was a sentence Sengoku said when he saw the newspaper, but his expression was not the slightest surprise, because he knew that he couldn't hide it at all. Kaido and Bigumum attacked Marine's G5 base at the same time, and also failed. Even if it is not exposed by Morgans, it has to be exposed by others. And this exposure of Morgans is also good for Marine, a Marine that can repel the New World pirates, so that Marine's reputation in the world has increased a lot. The little guy Sengoku wants to hide can't hide anymore. At this time, in the holy place Mariajoy, 5 elders sat together and looked at the newspaper in their hands to discuss. They knew about the existence of Lister for a long time, but they did not expect Lister to have such a powerful strength. Although they did not know the strength of Kaido, they could occupy an acre in the New World and among the many pirates. 3 points, the strength is definitely not weak, no matter what the level of Marine Admiral, and Rist can repel Kaido, which shows that Rist also has the level of Admiral. Does that guy Sengoku really think we don't know what he is thinking? He actually pinned our hopes on him. At this time, a 5 elders wearing a white robe said. Does that need us to send someone to give him? At the end of the speech, the man put his hand on his neck and wiped it. No, this guy is also a very useful pawn for us now. With such a powerful strength, let him fight the pirate first. When he is out of our control, it will not be too late to solve him, and he is also a disciple of the original Marine Admiral Zephyr. As long as Zephyr still has the master in our hands, he won't be able to make any waves. Advertisement. After Kaido took a sip of wine, he directly threw the wine gourd in his hand to the ground. This report simply trampled on his dignity. Doflamingo felt a little grateful in his heart. This person is naturally Makino, and he didn't say these words, he just chanted silently in his heart. Yes, but Sengoku needs a tap, so he doesn't think so much. Rist, are you okay? You must pay attention to your safety. I'm still here waiting for you. Because his tavern was already full of people, they all celebrated that Makino had found such a strong sweetheart. Under such a joyous atmosphere, Makino was naturally unable to discourage everyone. Zephyr looked at the majestic appearance on the battlefield of Rist, with a gratified smile on his face. His disciple finally had the strength to stand alone in the world. 5 elders, you said every word. I saw this person seeing Riester's news, and the expression on his face was different from that of others. Other people's expressions were either excited or calm. Only her, the expression on his face was worried. Well, let this matter go. And in North Blue, the White Town, Frevens, Doflamingo sat on a ruin, looked at the newspaper in his hand, and let out a crazy laugh. And in the windmill village of East Blue, there is also someone watching Lister. Hey, Kaido's monster was evenly matched. Fortunately, he didn't provoke him at the time. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Rist, you have finally grown to this point. That B************ D. Morgans reported falsely. What is meant by repelling Lousy? Lousy is called a strategic retreat. Although they have guessed some of Sengoku's careful thoughts, what they don't know is that this series of plans are all led by the previous Marine Marshal Kong. Let Kong go to beat Sengoku, that is, go there to drink tea and talk. Talk about life. People who can block Kaido from all beasts are very few in this world, and those who can repel Kaido are very few and very few. It can be said that Rist has become Rist in this world. Feathers and feathers are rare. Chapter 156 The Worlds Know. One swordsman. Oh, I didn't expect that I would become famous so quickly. Riester took off his blindfold and looked at the report in the newspaper, feeling relieved, but in fact it was a lot later than he expected. He thought he would be famous in the world when he was in Sabayati Archipelago. But at that time, he was indeed well known in the world, but his name was more famous. As for his own appearance, there was no report, only some descriptions about his appearance. The most important thing is wearing a blindfold. Ristre Rear Admiral, at this time, if you sit in this G5 base, no pirates will come again. Daravan Vice Admiral said with a flattering face in front of Lister. He was relieved a lot with Lister here. Although he didn't know what Lister was leaving, he hoped Lister could stay here more. A period of time. After all, in New World, he is scared almost every day. There are almost no big pirates in New World. He is the opponent. If the opponent has any bad thoughts about their G5 base, it is estimated that even the reinforcements of naval headquarters were wiped out before they waited. Oh, that's really a pity. I really hope that a few pirates will show up to move my muscles and bones. Here, Rear Admiral, are you kidding me? Hearing Rist's words, Daravan Vice Admiral's face immediately changed. He is a bit older now, and it is his greatest wish to be safe for the rest of his life. No, I'm serious. I hope that Kaido guy can do it again. It's not a good thing, Bigum. If it can, the old guy Whitebeard would be the best. Daravan suddenly felt that Lister seemed to be more dangerous than the pirates, and he suddenly felt that his G5 base would not seem to be quiet from now on. I have to say that although his observation hockey is not very good, this prediction is really accurate. Because Morgans emphatically emphasized one thing in that newspaper, or put a title for Riester forcibly. After the Golden Lion, a new generation of the world's largest swordsmen has appeared. This sentence may be nothing to other people, nor can it attract their interest, but to those swordsmen, it seems to have a goal. The title of number 1 in the world is very heavy, no matter what title is number 1 in the world, let alone a great swordsman. In this world, there are countless swordsmen. Every swordsman yearns for the title of the world's largest swordsman. Those powerful swordsmen have no way to get this title, but now they see an opportunity, one who can directly become the world. Opportunity for the number 1 swordsman. As long as Rist is defeated, the title of the world's greatest swordsman will naturally fall on the defeater. As the world's largest swordsman. It's really interesting. Advertisement. In North Blue, on a small boat, a man with eagle-like eyes looked at the contents of the newspaper with a look of interest on his face. Then he changed his goal and headed directly to the Grand Line. This man is the future best swordsman, Hawkeye Mahawk, but now he is a small well-known swordsman. At this time, he was looking for a famous swordsman from all over the world to challenge, and now he had a new goal in his heart. The world's largest swordsman, how dare this kid? As soon as this title came out, of course, it also attracted a lot of abuse. Most people thought that Riester did not have the strength to get this title at all. Therefore, those who are aiming at the world's largest swordsman are not, at this time have the mind to challenge Lister. Father, that kid is called the world's number 1 swordsman. On the Moby DK, the 5th Squad Captain Beasta said to Whitebeard with the newspaper in his hand. Oh, that marine kid. Whitebeard took a sip of wine, a shrewd look in his eyes. Yes, old man, if it's that kid, it does have this strength. Hiss. All the crew of Whitebeard took a sigh of relief when they heard this sentence. You know, This sentence came from the mouth of the strongest man in the world. Whitebeard can be recognized by the strongest man in the world. If this kind of thing spreads out, it will definitely push Riester to the forefront again. Father, is that kid worthy of such a high evaluation? Marco asked in shock. Well, although I just looked at it from a distance, I saw Roger and Golden Lion on the kid. One Piece Roger, and the pirate chief governor Golden Lion, these are all pirates who can be as famous as the old man. Marco, go and send a letter to that marine, saying that I will ask him out to meet him. Upon hearing Whitebeard's words, all the crew members were shocked again. Advertisement. Father, are you kidding us? Do you think Daddy is a joke? Then Daddy, why do you want to meet that marine? Although there are many pirates in New World and many aboriginals, there is always a deserted and eerie feeling, but recently because of Riester, more and more people come to New World, especially swordsmen. Sengoku, do you want to stop this thing? At this time, Rist, who was sitting on the G5 base, had no idea what Whitebeard was going to meet with him, and even if he knew it, he wouldn't be afraid, some of which were just excitement. Hearing Sengoku's high evaluation, Suru's eyes were a little surprised, because Sengoku is an absolutely sensible person, and he won't be dazzled by personal emotions. You know, it takes a lot of courage to let a marine go to the Whitebeard pirates alone. Okay, father, I will tell him what you mean. You know, it is their honor for others to see Whitebeard, and Whitebeard is now asking to see someone, not knowing how long ago it was. But Daddy, can he come out to see you? It's just because he spared you a lot of face, thank him well. No, since Riester has been exposed, there is no need for him to hide anymore, and defeating the swordsman that Mu Ming came to challenge is only good for us marine, and I believe Riester's strength, he won't it failed, and from then on, he probably won't lose another game. New World, known as the Tomb of the Pirates, is a place for those who are timid to avoid, and a place for those who are brave to conquer. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Crane Vice Admiral said this matter was between those swordsmen. After that, Whitebeard closed his eyes, and he didn't know what happened in his mind. He will come. If he doesn't come, then I think I have misunderstood him. In naval headquarters, Suru Vice Admiral sat in the marshal's office and asked Sengoku. So Sengoku's evaluation also made her a little interested in Lister. She had only heard of Lister's name before, but she had never had too much contact, at most just a few sides. The Fate. Chapter 157 Meeting Whitebeard. About 10 days after Lister got the title of the world's greatest swordsman, 8 swordsmen had already come to challenge him. Of course, there is no doubt that all of these swordsmen have lost. Almost no one can hold on to a trick in Lister's hands. Of course, just defeating 8 swordsmen would not be recognized by all the swordsmen in the world, so the swordsmen who came to challenge are still coming in an endless stream. Whose challenge book is it again? On this day, Rist sat in his office and looked at a letter on his desk. Sengoku has already given him a death order. All those who come to challenge him must accept and defeat the opponent. Sengoku's thoughts, Rist may also be able to guess a little, since it has been exposed. Then expose him completely, let the world know that Marine also has a super powerful swordsman. This is the Whitebeard Pirates. Riester noticed the Whitebeard Pirates logo on the envelope at a glance. Could it be that the captain of the 5th division of the Whitebeard Pirates wants to challenge me? In Riester's impression, the only foil in the Whitebeard Pirates regiment who had the strength of a sword master. As for the others, Riester did not pay attention to it at all, and did not even have any impression. But after reading the content of the letter, Rist showed a surprised expression on his face. Whitebeard wants to see me. This was indeed an unexpected thing. He didn't expect Whitebeard to suddenly want to see him. Although he didn't know what Whitebeard wanted to see him, he had to go to the appointment. And he didn't believe that Whitebeard would use some scheming to deal with him, because people like Whitebeard disdained to use that scheming. At this time, the Whitebeard pirates had all stayed on an island in New World. This unnamed island was where Whitebeard Yolist met. Father, can that fellow Rist come? Joes asked. Anyway, he wouldn't think that Riester would come here. It was the same as letting him go to naval headquarters alone. It is estimated that only fools would do this kind of self-rejection behavior. I don't know, but I don't think he will flinch. He has a feeling that Lister and them are both the same kind of people, a person with grandeur. Advertisement. At this time, inside the G5 base, List also greeted Dolivan. Dolivan Vice Admiral, I want to go out for a while, the specific number of days may not be specific. If the swordsman wants to challenge me during this period, you should help me deal with it first, and wait until I come back. What are you going to do? Dolivan asked suspiciously. This is a secret. After finishing speaking, without giving Dolivan a chance to ask again, Rist directly turned into a streamer and flew away. Derivan, who was left alone, pondered for a while, then took out a phone bug and reported to Marshal Sengoku about Rist's situation. Rissel left. Where did he go? Sengoku's voice came from the other end of the phone worm, and his tone was full of doubts and incomprehension. He knew that Lister was definitely not such a person who left his job without permission. Although Lister was lazy now, he was very good at work. Seriously, even better than most Marines do, because behind him is Marines justice. But now that Riester has left, it means that he must have an important thing to do. I don't know, he left without telling me. Okay, I see, the G5 base will trouble you recently. Yes, Master Marshal, don't worry, I promise to complete the task well. After hanging up, Sengoku wanted to call Rist, but gave up after hesitating for a while. And the Whitebeard pirate group on that unnamed island, Whitebeard who was drinking at a banquet, the hand holding the bottle suddenly paused, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. He came. As Whitebeard's voice fell, a dazzling golden light suddenly appeared in the middle of the Whitebeard pirate group. Everyone immediately showed a vigilant expression and took out their weapons. When the golden light dissipated, a handsome man wearing a cloak of justice and a blindfold with a wicked smile on his mouth suddenly appeared in front of all of them. Everyone put down their weapons. Marco said to the other crew members of the pirate group. Advertisement. He is not our enemy now, but our guest. Hearing Marco's words, although they had put away their weapons, the vigilance in their eyes still existed. I don't know why Whitebeard invited me, the unknown man from Marine, to do it. Riester spoke first, with no respect for the world's strongest man in his tone. UB ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** yelled at Lister to shut up. A powerful conqueror's hockey directly pressed against the opponent. Riester could allow powerful people to say this to him, but if an unknown person dared to speak to him like this, it would be death. In just 2 words, the pirate was knocked out and hit the board of the ship directly, and passed out to death. That's right, Conqueror's hockey, who was released by Rist, gave him the vibration. Seeing this scene, Whitebeard didn't say anything. He just looked at Lister's eyes full of solemnity. He didn't expect Lister to have such a powerful Conqueror's hockey. With just the tip of the iceberg just revealed, Whitebeard could knowing that the opponent's Conqueror's hockey is not under him. I just heard that you once let our crew go, so I specially invited you to have a banquet. But, you just made a shot in front of my crew members, then you were ready to die. Quote. Everyone in the Whitebeard pirate group never thought that his father would turn his face so quickly. I saw Whitebeard directly drew out the Kong Yun and cut towards Lister, and Lister's reaction speed was not slow at all, and he directly drew out the knife and blocked it. The powerful Conqueror's hockey was constantly released from the 2 people. Under the attack of the 2 of them, the originally calm sea suddenly became turbulent. The Moby Dik's ups and downs on the sea are getting bigger and bigger, and it is already a little offset from the unknown island where it is docked. All the pirates on the Moby Dik blocked in front of them with their hands, resisting the air waves caused by the collision of the 2 men. Hurry up and look at the sky. The cloud, no, the sky is already split. Chapter 158 Shock Fruit, get it? This can be said to be the first official meeting between Lister and Whitebeard. Either Lister saw Whitebeard in a coma before, or Whitebeard watched Lister from a distance. Is this the way the Whitebeard pirates treats guests? If that's the case, then I really can't flatter you. While fighting, Lister said to Whitebeard, our smiling faces are only for our guests, not for enemies like you. Whitebeard said with a serious expression. So, do you want to fight me here? There was no fear on Riester's face. Instead, there was a trace of expectation. Whitebeard can now be said to be a character at a different level from Kaido. No, the old man is not ready to go to war with you now. After that, Whitebeard put away his aura and weapons. Really, but I can't take you anymore now, Whitebeard. After speaking, Rist jumped off the Moby Dik directly, landed on the island, and shouted. Come on, Whitebeard, let me see how far I am from the strongest in the world, or is there no gap between us? This marine boy is really rampant. Marco said with an unhappy face, but he was unhappy and he had to admit that Lister's strength was really strong. Ha ha ha, do you think you can challenge the old man if you get the title of the world's #1 swordsman, or, let you see the gap between you and the old man? After speaking, Whitebeard also jumped directly off the Moby Dik. He was also a little bit enthusiastic at this time. Father, calm down. Marco and the others shouted from the boat, but it was of no use, because Whitebeard couldn't hear what they were saying now. Lifting Kong Yunchi, he leapt towards List with big strides, and then hacked List directly from above. Go to hell, Marine Kid. You should be the one who will die, Whitebeard. Advertisement. Rist also slapped the knife directly and collided with Whitebeard's cloud cut. The moment the 2 faced each other, the ground on which Riester had stepped cracked. Everyone stays away from this island. This is no longer a place for us to stay. Marco immediately ordered the crew that whenever Whitebeard fights, they will stay far away, because the ability of Whitebeard Shock Fruit can be said to be independent of enemy and me. However, at the moment of the fight, Riester's expression changed in an instant. He felt that his body suddenly invaded a domineering force. This feeling he had felt when fighting Kaido, but he didn't. Whitebeard is so strong. Ha ha ha, Marine boy, don't you even know Conqueror's entanglement? Whitebeard also noticed the anomaly on Lister's body, and sneered directly at Lister. As Conqueror's entangled. Of course Riester knows Conqueror's entanglement skill, but in Marine, except Marshal Sengoku, no one can use Conqueror's hockey, so for Conqueror's entanglement, Riester wants to learn and has to explore it by himself. Because Sengoku is not very grandmaster for Conqueror's entanglement, he is also overly dependent on his Devil Fruit ability and armament hockey. Although Riester does not currently entangle Conquerors, he has now applied armament hockey to ultimate, the advanced usage of armament hockey, and emission Riester is also the master. After that, Liester opened his observation hockey in an instant, and felt the other members of the Whitebeard pirate group and far away from this place. Liester was directly elementalized and left Whitebeard's suppression. Whitebeard, do you know why I wear this blindfold? Hearing this question from Liester, Whitebeard's face was instantly confused. He didn't understand what Liester meant when he asked him during the battle. It's not because I'm blind, but because my abilities are too strong and I have to make a little restriction on myself. While speaking, Liester had already taken off his blindfold. But now facing you alone, this restriction is no longer needed. The reason why Rist waited for the rest of the Whitebeard pirates to take off his blindfolds was to prevent him from seeing things that he shouldn't see. After all, there are many capable people in the Whitebeard pirates. There was only one chance left, and he had to get Whitebeard's abilities. Come on, Whitebeard, take out all your strength, otherwise, you won't have a chance. Afterwards, Rist opened his eyes, and his eyes revealed various emotions such as determination, madness, and excitement. Pretend to be a fool. After speaking, Whitebeard rushed towards Liester again, raised Kong Yunchi and slashed towards Liester. Advertisement. And this time, Liester also swung the knife in the same way, but Whitebeard had already noticed that Liester's knife was already wrapped in the same thing as him. When the two weapons were still a punch away, it was as if something appeared in the middle, making it impossible for the two weapons to collide together. What? This time, Whitebeard was really shocked. He hadn't used Conquerors to entangle just now, but now he has done it. This is also a skill that Riester has replicated again after many years. My ability is to copy everything I see and turn it into my own ability. Then the two increased their strength at the same time, and the two weapons had already broken through a certain obstacle at this time and collided. At this moment, the whole world became turbulent, and the clouds were raging, and this nameless island was almost torn apart, and all the trees on the island had been broken. That Marine was able to beat his father to this point. The Whitebeard pirate group outside the island felt this aura, and they were shocked. With such a powerful ability, why do you want to seal it up? At this moment Whitebeard was puzzled. You'll know in a while. A mysterious smile appeared on the corner of Riester's mouth. Even if it was him, he couldn't calm down in his heart now. The two collided with one blow. Whitebeard, use your abilities, otherwise you won't be able to beat me. There is nothing wrong with Liester's words. As the world's #1 swordsman, Whitebeard has no upper hand in this type of martial arts showdown. If this is the case, let you see the full strength of the old man. After speaking, a transparent white aperture appeared on Whitebeard's cloud cut. After seeing this scene, Rist suddenly felt that there was something missing in his body that had been replaced. Shock fruit. Get it. Chapter 159 Double Ability Suppression. Now, even if Riester sees a new demon fruit power, he will not copy the opponent's abilities, because Riester's body is already in a saturated state, that is to say, he can get out of the mask in the future. You can see the sun. I saw Whitebeard's carrier shock fruit's ability to cut the clouds directly forward, and immediately in front of him was the rock fragmentation. The powerful shock wave continued to impact on Liester, and Liester who saw this scene was straightforward. He placed his armament hockey outside to block the blow. Similar to the time of the war on the top, the three admirals stood in front of the execution table and stretched out his hands to block Whitebeard's angry blow. After the attack, Rist stood there unscathed. Sure enough, shock fruit's ability is really powerful. Rist is fully capable of avoiding this attack, but he chose to resist this attack, mainly because he wants to experience the power of shock fruit firsthand. It's really a powerful ability, Whitebeard. At this moment, Liester's tone was all due to excitement, with some slight tremors. But Whitebeard, have you ever been attacked by your own abilities? What's the meaning? Upon hearing Riester's words, Whitebeard's eyes revealed a trace of solemnity and a trace of doubt. Next you will know. Seeing Riester swapping Feng Yin to his left hand, clenching his right fist, a white transparent aperture appeared on Riester's fist, and Whitebeard stared at this scene with an expression of disbelief. He was too familiar with this. Afterwards, Riester slapped into the air, and cracks appeared directly in the atmosphere. The powerful destructive power appeared directly with Liester's attack, and the island once again became torn apart under Liester's attack, and Whitebeard, who had received the blow from the front, vomited blood directly. It can be said that he did not make any defense against this blow at all, because his entire brain just now was in a state of confusion. After the attack, Whitebeard clutched his chest and stood up with Kong Yunchi. Boy Marine, what is your ability? Advertisement. Didn't you already feel it? It's your shock fruit ability. In order to get your ability, I didn't hesitate to seal my eyes for 10 years. Now it seems that your ability really did not disappoint me. It turns out that you are the Marine who is the most threatening to our pirates. You hide so deeply, I guess even Sengoku doesn't know your whole cards. I have to say that Whitebeard's guess is very accurate, and it's almost inseparable. They thought that Riester had already reached the upper limit of Devil Fruit's body load 10 years ago, so Riester did not intend to spread the news of his shock fruit ability for the time being. After all, this can be said to be a real trump card. Yes, so what I want to do now is whether to get rid of you, so that no one will know that I have the ability to shock fruit. If you can kill me, you can try it. Marine kid, Lousy is not scared by others. Although he didn't know how Liester got his shock fruit ability, but since he dared to speak big words with him, it was to see his real anger Whitebeard. I didn't know how many heroes in the ocean wanted to take his first rank, but those people either paid the price of their lives or became his sons. Few people who have thoughts about him can still live well now. Then, a powerful aura burst out of Whitebeard's whole body, and this aura went straight into the sky. Naturally, Rist was unwilling to show weakness, and his momentum exploded in an instant, forming a rivalry with Whitebeard. Go to death for me, you arrogant kid. I should have given you this sentence, go to hell, Whitebeard. Afterwards, the two used Shock Fruit's ability to shoot at each other at the same time, but in this respect, Riester was still at a disadvantage. After all, Shock Fruit tested a person's physical fitness. And Liester's quality is obviously inferior to Whitebeard, so even if he gets Shock Fruit, he can't exert the power of Whitebeard. And it was less than a few minutes before and after Riester got Shock Fruit, and Whitebeard had been able to master Shock Fruit for decades. So while fighting, Rist must also use other abilities as support. How do I feel that the battle between these two people is getting more and more intense? Advertisement. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. I really didn't expect that Marine would have such a powerful strength. This made everyone in the Whitebeard pirate group feel ashamed. They felt that they were all alive to dogs at such an age. Afterwards, Rist's body glowed with golden light, and his figure suddenly became much larger, directly turning into a golden Buddha, and now the size of this Buddha is no less than the size of Sengoku's ability to use it. What do you mean? Is it possible that you still have a surprise for me? After this day's battle, Whitebeard has seen a different place on Riester's body soon. I saw that a white transparent aperture suddenly appeared on Riester's palm in the state of the Buddha. This was Shock Fruit's ability. What do you think? I don't know how many meters away from the Whitebeard pirates of the island, feeling the momentum from the island, there is still a feeling of fear. At this time, Sengoku's abilities. I didn't expect that you guys even copied Sengoku's abilities. Whitebeard, have you seen an earthquake shock wave? It has been a long time since Whitebeard had fought such a fierce battle, and Riester was naturally very excited because he was fighting the most powerful man in the world. Seeing this scene, Whitebeard didn't have any fear in his heart, on the contrary, his fighting spirit was getting stronger and stronger. At this moment, Liester's voice was as loud as Hong Zhong. Using the ability of Shock Fruit in the form of a big Buddha, it can be seen how terrifying this attack is. He and Sengoku can be said to be old enemies. He has had a lot of dealings with Sengoku, but he didn't expect to see this ability in a junior now. If he didn't know it, maybe Sengoku had already fallen. Soon, the battle had lasted for a day and a night, but now neither Whitebeard nor Liester's energy felt any fatigue. Whitebeard, feel the suppression of dual abilities. Chapter 160. Come on, Marine Kid. At this time, Whitebeard's tone was also very excited, and his heart was also quite excited now. He no longer knew how long he had been in such a fierce battle with a person without any purpose, without any goal. There is no pressure, just to satisfy his desire to fight. I saw that Rist stretched out his palm, the atmosphere in front of the golden palm directly produced a crack, and the shock wave in the shape of the great Buddha directly enveloped Whitebeard. Shock Fruit's attacks are relatively scattered, but under the shock wave of the big Buddha form, all the power of Shock Fruit is compressed into the shock wave, so that not only the ability of Shock Fruit can be gathered, but the power of the shock wave can be increased. And Whitebeard also used Shock Fruit's ability to contend with Riester's seismic shock wave, but obviously, in the form of the Buddha, Riester, which has been improved in all aspects, is no longer what Whitebeard can suppress. Instead, it is Whitebeard that is suppressed. When the attack dissipated, Whitebeard stood in front of List in embarrassment. Sure, ha 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 ha, Lousy has no idea how long it has been since such a cool battle. Come on, Marine boy. Although he was suppressed this time, the blow seemed to have completely ignited Whitebeard's passion, and the attacks became fierce from time to time. Come on, Whitebeard, can I still be suppressed by your old man? Afterwards, List also broke out with a sense of reluctance to admit defeat. Riester doesn't use weapons anymore. The battle between the two has turned into a punch and punch. Shock Fruit's ability seems to be free of money. It is vented everywhere. If someone is there to watch the battle, you will find that this island's the air is almost never in good condition. This fierce battle lasted for 2 days and nights, and finally after a loud noise, the battle subsided. The battle should be over, right? The members of the Whitebeard pirate group have not closed their eyes for 3 days and 3 nights. They have been watching the direction of the island, hoping that the battle will end soon. Well, there is no sound, and the breath of the two people has also weakened. It looks like it should be over. Marco replied. Then let's go over and take a look. Afterwards, the mobile drove slowly towards the island. At this time, the nameless island was almost clear from the chart, because the land on which the island was still floating on the sea was not big anymore. It may sink at any time. It can be said that the battle between Whitebeard and Lister directly sank an island. When they got closer, everyone found Lister and Whitebeard lying on the ground. Father. Advertisement. The crew of the Whitebeard pirate group immediately yelled worriedly. Marco flew directly in front of Whitebeard and lifted Whitebeard's head. At this time, when he sensed the injuries on Whitebeard's body, immediately fell into shock. He doesn't know how long he hasn't seen his dad suffer such a serious injury. It is necessary to know that the last time his dad suffered such a serious injury was when he fought Roger. Even in the last fight with Kaido and Auntie, Whitebeard was not so serious. Of course, Lister's condition was also very bad. His clothes had already been broken, and the bones in his body didn't know how many broken, only his eyes could prove that he was still alive. You Marine, Lousy is going to kill you. Seeing that his father had been so severely attacked, Vista drew his knife and slashed towards List without saying a word. Stop, Vista. At this moment, Marco stopped him suddenly. Marco, what are you going to do? Do you want to protect this Marine? Vista said angrily. It's not that I want to ensure, but that the old man wants to ensure. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. At this moment, a burst of laughter suddenly attracted the attention of everyone in the Whitebeard pirates, and everyone looked in the direction of the sound, which was from Whitebeard lying in Marco's arms. At this time Marco was using his abilities to treat some skin injuries on Whitebeard's body. Lousy doesn't know how long it has not been for such a fun battle. When will we meet again next time, Marine Kid? Whitebeard shouted directly. Ha 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 ha. This laughter came from Riester's mouth. Whitebeard, Lousy doesn't want to fight you anymore. This is the first time Lousy has suffered such a serious injury since he was born. It really hurts Lousy. Since no one treated himself, Riester was in very poor condition, although he was not dead. What Lousy wanted has been obtained, and there is no reason to continue fighting with you. Cut. Boring. Advertisement. Upon hearing Riester's words, Whitebeard groaned. But Marine boy, do you owe me a favor? Hearing Whitebeard's question, Riester thought for a while. Say you owe it, but you don't actually owe it, because Marine fighting the pirates is a matter of course, but if you don't owe it, Lister got the shock fruit ability from Whitebeard. After thinking for a while, Lister finally nodded and agreed. Ha ha ha, with your words, Lousy is relieved. Whitebeard was mainly afraid that one day after he left, his children would be unpredictable, but now with Riester's promise, he was relieved. The broken bones that Rist was laughing at were a little bit painful. If he is just an ordinary Marine, it's okay that Lister can still agree to Whitebeard, but now that Lister's status does not allow him to be a brother to a pirate, let alone Whitebeard. If you feel owed, then owe it. What do you want me to do for you? Heal that Marine Kid, and then we start to have a party. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Be my son, Marine Kid. Hearing these words, not only the crew of the Whitebeard pirate group was stunned, but even Lister was stunned. Whitebeard yelled, announcing the beginning of the banquet. If it's really time for your Whitebeard pirates to survive, I will help. Rist understood that Whitebeard wanted to bind him and the Whitebeard pirates to a rope. Since you don't want to be Lousy's son, then you can be Lousy's brother. I know, then when you can help us again, help us with the Whitebeard pirates. There should be no problem with this. Puff ha 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 ha, Whitebeard, are you kidding? This joke is not funny at all, you know it's impossible. Change another, Whitebeard, you know this is also impossible. Hearing Lister's refusal, the members of the Whitebeard pirate group were also relieved. They didn't want to have an uncle who was younger than themselves. Chapter 161 Whitebeard. Of course, Lister agreed to Whitebeard's condition not only because he got the shock fruit ability from Whitebeard, but this alone was not enough for Lister to agree to this condition. Another reason is that when Whitebeard was still alive, if Lister asked Whitebeard to do something, he would not be easy to refuse. This can only be said to be a mutually beneficial transaction. Although the ship doctors on the Whitebeard pirates were reluctant, they still gave Rist treatment. After all, the father's order, they did not dare to disobey, and even Marco personally ended up treating Rist. Marco, would you like to call me uncle? In that case, I will be able to take care of you in the sea from now on. Seeing Marco who healed himself, Rist made a joke. He never thought that one day he would be treated by a pirate. FK off. Marco was also unwilling to give Rist treatment, so naturally there was no good face. In this regard, Lister just smiled and didn't care very much. The banquet began, and Rist had an unprecedented drink with everyone from the Whitebeard pirates. When Whitebeard saw Riester drank a glass of wine, his face was a little red, and a sly look suddenly appeared in his eyes, and a plan was quietly formed in his heart. In the next banquet, Whitebeard kept looking for various reasons to toast the wine. Although Riester would shirk at first, but in the end, Riester would drink as soon as he saw the wine, no matter who owned the wine. Not his. When the members of the Whitebeard pirate group saw the old man, they were all a little puzzled. Is this the old man they knew? Couldn't it be someone pretending to be someone else? Boy Marine, you think we two are so destined, how about being brothers of the opposite S**X? Hearing Whitebeard's words, his son's jaws fell and their eyes stared. They didn't expect that the purpose of the father's desperately pouring the Lister wine was this, and the father has not given up with Marine. The absurd idea of worshipping the handle. Good. When Lister agreed to his words, Whitebeard burst into laughter. From today onwards, I will be the elder brother and you will be the second brother. Big brother, Rist said with a blurred look. Second brother. Whitebeard said excitedly. Then the two touched the wine in the glass. After drinking, the brotherhood between the two ended. Although Whitebeard did this purposefully, after drinking this clink wine, they would be like real brothers in the future. This can be said to be a ritual in this world. Anyone who has drunk this formal clink wine can be regarded as one of his closest brothers. At that time, even after Riester sobered up, it would be useless. And Riester, who drank the clinking wine, just fell asleep. Marco, help him to rest in the cabin. Advertisement. Yes, old man. Although Marco is still very upset with Lister, from now on, Lister is Marco's brother. Neither of them thought at the time that Riester's joking words would come true now, and Marco would really have to call this man who was a teenager his own uncle in the future. The members of the Whitebeard pirate group looked at Whitebeard with an expression of disbelief. Father, you won't be serious, Joe said with a shocked face. Hearing this, the happy expression on Whitebeard's face disappeared instantly, replaced by a very serious expression. From today, the Marine kid is my younger brother. You will see him as if you see me in the future. Did you understand? Seeing the look of Whitebeard, they knew that their father was serious and really wanted to treat that Marine as his brother. We understand, old man. Then, there was a smile on Whitebeard's face, the kind of smile that succeeded in conspiracy. Whitebeard's life was upright, and he usually didn't bother to use this kind of conspiracy, but for his own children and for their future, Whitebeard had to do it. But I don't know why. After doing this, Whitebeard didn't feel the slightest guilt in his heart, but there was a trace of refreshment. Now I finally know why that guy Sengoku likes calculating people so much. It turned out to be such a feeling, and it's really cool. Afterwards, Whitebeard also closed his eyes and went to sleep. The exhaustion accumulated from the non-stop fighting for 3 days and 3 nights finally broke out at this moment. Regarding Whitebeard's decision, all the crew members were very helpless, but they had no choice but to admit their fate. After only 1 night's rest, both Whitebeard and List were awake. Hiss. Whitebeard, who had just sat up, subconsciously covered his head with his hands, because he now felt a head bursting. I will never drink anymore. I will be a dog if I drink again. Rist swears secretly in his heart. But now he always felt like he had forgotten something in his heart. At this moment, a crew member of Whitebeard's pirate group suddenly walked in and looked at Rist while sitting on the bed. Both of them were dumbfounded at the same time. Uncle, good morning. After speaking, the pirate company ran out. He didn't even give Riester a chance to reply. Advertisement. Suddenly, Rist seemed to realize something was wrong. What does he call me uncle? Afterwards, Lister carefully recalled what happened last night, but he couldn't remember anything. Reluctantly, Rist could only walk out of the room to see if he could find someone to ask what happened last night. But when he went out, all of the Whitebeard pirate crew saw him look very wrong, and everyone greeted him very kindly, and they all said the same thing. Good uncle. Suddenly, he saw Whitebeard sitting on the deck with a bottle. The moment he saw Whitebeard, the memories of last night came to his mind. Big brother. Second brother. Ha ha ha, I don't know who got off. After speaking, Lister planned to leave. Okay, Whitebeard, you have a seed, you wait for me. Hearing that Whitebeard had actually replied, Rist knew that the memory was true. He immediately yelled at Whitebeard. He didn't know how long his emotions hadn't lost control, and now he was caught by someone. Reckless man played. Whitebeard is very happy now, and all the depression accumulated in the past few days has been wiped out. After all, there was an innocent look on Whitebeard's face. Who told you to drink my wine? I saw Whitebeard suddenly took out a phone bug and threw it to List. Rist didn't bother to talk to Whitebeard now, but he still put the phone worm away, turned into a streamer and left. Who knew your drinking was so bad? Hurry up and get out of here. Whitebeard, you old silver coin, how dare you damn me. Second brother, if you have anything to contact me through this phone bug, eldest brother can also contact you through this if you have anything. Second brother, thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Rist didn't even notice, but he subconsciously replied Whitebeard. I didn't. You agreed to worship me. I didn't force you. Chapter 162. In the process of leaving, Lister became more and more angry. He really did not expect Whitebeard to use such a trick for his crew. It has been more than 10 years since he came to this world, and Lister naturally understood the clinking glasses. What is the meaning of wine, although he can completely disobey, but in that case, he will definitely bear an unjust name. It can be said that Whitebeard took great pains for his children. Whitebeard, who has been upright and honest throughout his life, did not hesitate to use the most despised conspiracy and tricks for his children. If it weren't for his serious injury, he really wanted to have another fight with Whitebeard, it would really s him off. On the way back Rist saw a pirate ship. I can't handle the Whitebeard pirates. I can't handle you guys. I dare to appear in front of me in an open manner. I really don't put my Marine Rear Admiral in my eyes. Riester had completely vented his anger on others now, and had forgotten that he was the one who appeared suddenly, and the pirate group was just driving on the sea for no reason. Bakichong Guyu. Hey, Captain, what do you think it is? A crew member of the pirate group looked at the golden light in the sky and asked questioningly. And the captain was the Grandmaster with a trace of observation hockey, and he felt the violent aura contained in the golden light. Not good, dangerous, hurry up. As soon as the voice of the captain of the pirate regiment fell, countless light bombs attacked in the direction of their pirate regiment. Whether it fell on the ship or on the sea, a violent explosion occurred. After this round of large-scale bombing, Riester instantly felt that he was feeling more relaxed. For these pirates, Riester had no sympathy at all. He had just felt that there was something in these pirates. Bloody air, and this bloody air can be possessed by talents who have just finished killing. Who the hell are you guys? After the attack, the captain of the pirate regiment barely survived, but he also suffered extensive damage to his body. When he saw Rist, he asked with a bit of difficulty. I'm just a passing marine, remember it for me. After that, Rist turned into a stream of light and flew away. As for the captain of the pirate regiment, it is a mortal ending. No one will save him. Even if someone luckily saves him on the ship, there is absolutely no way to heal his injuries. When Lister returned to the G5 base again, Donovan was a little stunned when he saw Lister. What's the matter, Garp Vice Admiral? Didn't you know me after a few days of seeing each other? Rist asked Donovan, who was a little surprised. Rist, Rear Admiral, are your eyes better? Eyes. He has always been good. It's just that I sealed my eyes. Now that I have found a way to control my own abilities, I don't need it anymore. Oh, advertisement. Although Donovan did not understand what was going on, he at least heard one meaning clearly, that is, Riester was not a disabled person from beginning to end. But, Rear Admiral, what's the matter with your injury? It's nothing, it's just a fight with Whitebeard's old silver coin. When mentioning Whitebeard, List gritted his teeth. Whitebeard, is that the strongest man in the world, Whitebeard? Donovan said in shock, his tone was full of surprise, his mouth opened wide and he didn't know what to say. Well, anyone besides that Whitebeard can beat me like this. But Whitebeard is not comfortable, and his injuries are not much lighter than me. Suddenly, Donovan noticed Riester's name for Whitebeard again, the old silver coin. There, Rear Admiral, what's the matter with this old silver coin? Donovan asked cautiously. He actually poured me drunk and then treated me. Suddenly, Riester's words came to a halt, and he couldn't tell anyone what he said to Whitebeard about his brother, otherwise it would be difficult for him to stay in Marine. Even if Sengoku can tolerate him, the world government will not allow him to stay in Marine. Nothing. But Donovan at this time was completely plunged into his own imagination. Then what did you do to me? Single quote. Donovan especially wanted to know what Whitebeard did to Lister after he was drunk, but if Lister did not tell him, he would have no way of knowing. He felt like a cat was tickling him in his heart. It was very uncomfortable. The most critical place is stuck. But when Donovan recovered, Rist was no longer visible. He then reported Lister's situation to Marshal Sengoku. What? Lister actually had a fight with Whitebeard. Hearing Donovan's report, Sengoku shouted excitedly, and even the entire naval headquarters could hear Sengoku's roar. How did it turn out? Was Riester okay? Sengoku immediately asked with concern. Advertisement. It looks like the injury should be serious, but according to him, Whitebeard was also seriously injured, and the two of them should have lost both. Okay, I see, you don't need to care about this matter, I will ask List personally. Yes, Marshal Sengoku. Did the kid in List actually fight Whitebeard? At this moment, a strong voice suddenly rang across from Sengoku. Yes, Marshal Sora. Donovan from the new WORLDG5 base reported to me this way, he should have heard of it personally from Lister. That's right, sitting in front of Marshal Sengoku at this time is the previous Marshal Marine, the current commander of the Armed Forces Kong. And his purpose here is to let 5 elders beat Sengoku fatally, but seeing Sora drinking tea here, it is not like beating a person at all. Unexpectedly, that kid would be able to fight Whitebeard. I guess I am not that kid's opponent now. Sora took a sip of tea and sighed. He still remembers the first time he met Lister, and it was in this place. The first time he saw Lister, the kid with amazing talent. Afterwards, Sengoku called Lister's phone worm in front of him. Hey, Marshal Sengoku, what can I do? The phone worm was directly replaced by Riester's appearance. I heard you fought Whitebeard. Haha, Marshal Sengoku's news is really the Grand Master, did Donovan tell you? Don't talk nonsense, tell me the final result. It's nothing, it's a tie at best, no one takes advantage of others. Well, I got it. Rist, your blindfold is off. At this time, another voice reached Lister's ear through the phone worm. Is it Marshal Sora? Chapter 163 Swordsman's Challenge. Yes, it's the old man. Marshal Kong, it's really been a long time since I saw you. Rist's voice was a little surprised. He didn't expect Marshal Sengoku to be with Marshal Sengoku. It stands to reason that Marshal Sengoku should be very busy now. Answer my question, Lister, have your blindfolds been taken off? At this time, Sengoku also noticed that there was no blindfold on the phone worm. That's right, you deserve to be Marshal Sora, who is really careful to observe. Then do you take it off temporarily or? Although Sora did not say another option, Rist already knew what Sora wanted to express. I have been able to control my abilities, so I no longer need the assistance of a mask in the future. Sure, I'm sure, Marshal Kong. That's good. Alright, you should guard the G5 base first. Sengoku and I have a meeting to be held. Quote. Yes, Marshal Sora. Afterwards, Shuangjian hung up the phone worm. Sengoku, do you think it's a bit weird? At this moment, Sora suddenly asked Sengoku. Strange. I don't know what Marshal Kong said. Why Riester can suddenly take off the blindfold now, or after fighting Whitebeard. This may really be like he said, being able to control one's own abilities, right? Do you believe it? Sora's answer to this question directly stopped Sengoku. Does he believe it? To be honest, he didn't believe it in his heart. And you and I all know Riester's ability. Why did he fight Whitebeard, and did he also get the ability of Whitebeard Shock Fruit? You mean, Riester has already gotten Shock Fruit's ability? Sengoku's eyes widened directly, and his face was full of incredulous expressions. I don't know, but I feel it is possible. Advertisement. Marshal Kong's tone at this time was also quite serious. Then do you want me to let Riester come back, and ask carefully? No, if he really wants to hide, no matter how we ask, we won't get the desired result. Let it be. If Riester really gets Whitebeard's ability, even if he wants hidden, one day will be exposed. Yes, I see, Marshal Sora. You know, Sengoku is rated as the resourceful general. His IQ in some respects can be said to be higher than that of Kong. He can naturally think of things that Kong can think of, but now it is necessary to have a clear priority. That's why he played such a role. This can also be regarded as a way to behave in the world. And Rist, who hung up the phone worm, had a serious face at this time. He could say that he faced two old cunning things at once. He believed that both Sora and Sengoku had already seen a hint. It seems that facing those two old guys, my IQ was really hard to play. Lister sighed silently, but said nothing more, and it was useless to think. Hume. At this time, a knock on the door rang. Come in. What's wrong? Report to Riester, Rear Admiral. In the past few days, there have been many swordsmen who have come here to challenge you. See if you have to go out and deal with it. Well, you can gather them all in the square now, I'll deal with it later. Okay, List Rear Admiral. Sitting in his chair and looking out the window, Rist noticed the dozen or so swordsmen in the square, but they didn't have any familiar characters, and the sword intent they exuded was not very strong. Even if Lister is not serious, they are all a killer role for Lister. At this time, the truly powerful swordsmen were still watching to see if Lister had the qualifications to challenge them. Afterwards, Lister's figure also immediately appeared on the square of the base. Look, that guy is here. Isn't he a blind man? How come his eyes are well? Who knows, maybe the rumors are wrong. When Rist appeared, everyone at the scene was already talking. But I don't feel any obvious sword intent on him either. What do you know, this should be the so-called return to nature in the legend. Advertisement. Do you just want to come to challenge my swordsman? Rist looked around and spoke slowly, but what I want to say is that you are not qualified at all. You fellow, what do you mean by that? Suddenly, someone with a more grumpy temper yelled at Lister. It's nothing, it means literally, your strength is too weak, it is not worth my shot at all. Damn it, you be asterisk 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 D. Look down on people, don't think you are Marine, we dare not do anything to you. First, I'm not Marine now, just a swordsman challenged by you, so you don't need to hesitate, and Marine will not want you for this trivial matter. But I'm just telling the truth, you really don't have the qualifications to let me shoot. Go to death for me. Suddenly, someone was annoyed and furious, he drew the knife and rushed towards him, but he just hit his body lightly, and then kicked the opponent away with a single kick. Although Lister did not use a knife, it also allowed some people to see the gap between them and Lister. But since you have come to challenge me, you can't let you go back like this, just show a little bit of my own strength. After speaking, List drew the knife, and then faced the sea. What is he going to do? Who knows, don't you know if you keep looking? Slash wave. Just listen. Rist slowly spit out two words from his mouth, and then with a wave of the knife, a powerful sword energy directly cut the entire sea surface, and they did not see this sword energy at all in their eyes. Where is the end? Anyway, the surface of the sea they were looking at had all been split in half. The sea was split apart, joking. Suddenly, someone was dumbfounded and said squabblingly. I'm not dreaming, right? If I hit you, you will know if you are dreaming. Of course, they all know that this is an extremely clear reality. Rist's attack can be said to have directly knocked out their self-confidence. Some people who are not firm in their swordsmanship may even give up in the future. Kendo develops in this area. Because the kendo shown by Rist is completely two-dimensional like them. Chapter 164 Op Fruit appears at this time, on a piece of water not far from the G5 base. A small boat was also driving towards the G5 base, and then suddenly, a sword gas quickly passed by him. I saw that the man's eagle-like pupils were wide open, in an unbelievable state, and then he drove his boat silently, changed directions, and left. Now is not the time to challenge him. This person is Mahawk. He is very self-aware of his own strength. Now he hasn't even seen the figure of the G5 base, but the opponent's sword aura has already come first, although he knows this sword aura, it's not against him. All the swordsmen who came to challenge Lister retreated very consciously, although there were still a steady stream of swordsmen coming to challenge Lister. Without exception, none of them succeeded, and none of them saw Lister. After a sword, there is still a sword intent. Soon, almost a year has passed. Within this year, with Riester's seat, Marine has more or less a voice in New World. And Riester sometimes cleans up the New World pirates with Marine, but when encountering the Whitebeard pirates, Riester deliberately avoided the past. Now in this sea, no one knows that Whitebeard and List are brothers except the crew on the main ship of the Mobile. After all, the two are rival forces, and in age, Whitebeard is enough to be Riester's grandfather. Of course, those powerful swordsmen have never interrupted their challenge to Lister. From the ordinary swordsman at the beginning, to the swordsman, and then to the great swordsman, They all launched one after another against Riester. Challenge. But in everything, those who have challenged Riester don't want to fight Riester a second time, because Riester has learned all their swordsmanship. That is, in this year, Riester has completely destroyed the world. The title of #1 swordsman was confirmed. Today, Riester has also received an order to return to naval headquarters. When Riester was about to leave, all Marines in the G5 base were very reluctant to leave. In a year with Riester, they finally knew world exaggerated. And when Riester left, they might have to change back to the previous image of a turtle with a shrunken head. Faced with the powerful pirates, they can only escape from the wild, but even if they don't give up, there is nothing left for them. Riester will not stay here. But before leaving, Riester took the initiative to make a rare call to Whitebeard. "What's the matter with me, brother?" As soon as the phone was connected, Whitebeard's strong voice came out, but Rist heard a faint smile in Whitebeard's tone. "Do not talk nonsense." The expression on Riester's face immediately changed. "Advertisement, I will leave New World soon. At that time, Marines G5 base will surely usher in revenge from some people. I hope you can help block those people." "Okay, no problem. Since it's the second brother's request, the eldest brother must help as long as he can. Get out of here." After speaking, Rist hung up the phone decisively. This Whitebeard always tried to take advantage of him. "Marco, send someone to pay attention to the movements of the Marine G5 base. If there are big pirates attacking them, you must report to me." "Yes, old man." In this year or so, the crew of the Whitebeard pirate group also recognized the identity of Uncle Riester. There is no other way. Riester did provide them with a lot of convenience, and also for their people. All his men are merciful. Sometimes, Riester felt a sense of guilt in his heart, a sense of being in the same squalor with the pirates. Just when Riester was about to return to naval headquarters by warship, the phone worm in his arms suddenly rang again. Seeing the image of the phone worm, Riester's face changed. "What's wrong?" This was the first sentence Riester uttered when he connected the phone worm. Op fruit appeared, right in Frefans. At this time, Frefans became a hell on earth because of the appearance of op fruit. "Okay, I see, you try not to let op fruit out of your control. I will rush over as quickly as possible." "Good." After that, the two did not talk too much. The person who called Rist just now was naturally Mistgang. This year, Mistgang has also been completing the task that Riester gave him. "Bruce, first go back to the headquarters and report to Marshal Sengoku. I'll go to North Blue." "Sir, what are you doing in North Blue?" "There is an important task that I need to complete personally." "Okay, let's not talk about it. Time is tight and the task is heavy. I will take one step first." Advertisement. After speaking, Riester turned into a streamer and flew away, and he disappeared in the blink of an eye. "What task is it? It is so serious." Bruce was a little puzzled, because he felt that this was not like a task assigned to him by Marshal Sengoku, otherwise Rist wouldn't let him go back and report to Marshal Sengoku. At this time, Marshal Sengoku at naval headquarters was also anxious, because he had just received the news from his son. His son had already got the op fruit, but now he is in a very dangerous situation. It is possible to die. And Mistgang in Frevens has been using observation hockey to target the person holding the op fruit. Is that Doflamingo's younger brother? Mr. Gong thought in his heart. And there was a little boy behind Mistgang. At this time, they were facing many chasing soldiers, and the Krasen had been seriously injured. Suddenly, observation hockey and Mistgang couldn't perceive the breath of the two people. What's the situation? Is Mistgang wrinkled? This is the first time that his observation hockey has failed, and the one that can make observation hockey fail is either the higher level observation hockey, or else it has some special ability to temporarily block him. Observation hockey. Afterwards, Mistgang immediately accelerated his speed and hurried towards the place where the breath of the two of them last appeared. When he first arrived, it happened to be watching Doflamingo's younger brother squeeze op fruit into the little boy's mouth. "Stop!" Mr. Gong yelled, but it was too late, and devil fruit had been swallowed by the little boy. Krasen also discovered the existence of Mistgang and looked at each other with a vigilant expression. Mistgang's face was also very ugly. He did not expect that the other party had the ability to block his observation hockey, which was his miscalculation. Chapter 165. Then Mr. Gong took out the phone bug with an ugly look and called Rist again. The mission failed. Op fruit was eaten. What? Hearing this report from Mistgang, Rist slammed the brakes directly in the air, with a shocked expression on his face. He no longer knew what kind of situation he should use to describe his current mood. "Who ate it? Please tell me in detail quickly." Later, Mr. Gong told Rist about Doflamingo's younger brother Klassen forcibly feeding devil fruit to a little boy. Sure enough, even after my interference, did op fruit finally fall into Luo's hands? That little boy with Krasen, needless to say, Rist knew it was Luo. But after hearing Mistgang's description, there was one thing that Rist didn't understand. Why did observation hockey in Mistgang suddenly fail? Could it be because of Krasen's silent fruit that he and Luo were enveloped by the fruit? Go in, so did observation hockey fail? If this is the case, then the fruit of silence is not useless. You know, Rist once felt that silent fruit was the most tasteless devil fruit among all devil fruits. There was no one, but if it could really shield the perception of observation hockey, then silent fruit would still be of great use. Now what? Mr. Gong asked Riester. Protect these two people first, I'll be there soon. I see. Afterwards, Mr. Gon looked at Krasen with persistent eyes, and there was also a little curious look in his eyes. How exactly did the other party block his observation hockey? Who are you guys? Krasen asked warily at Mistgang. It's nothing, you don't care who I am, but I advise you that it is better not to act rashly. In this way, you can still be free from some physical suffering. Damn it. Klasen's expression was a bit hideous at this time, and the aura he felt in the man in black was even stronger than his brother Doflamingo, which shows that this person is at least the same level as Doflamingo. Krasen is also very self-aware of his own strength. Facing such an opponent, he has no chance of winning. Advertisement Luo Z hid behind Klasen. I can stay here, but I hope you can let this little guy out of here. Afterwards, Krasen spoke to Mistgang again. That won't work. The purpose of our coming here this time is for op fruit. Now this little boy has eaten op fruit. Do you think I will let him leave here? Damn it. Krasen regretted the rash decision just now. He should wait a little longer. He didn't expect that the people who spied op fruit would rush them so quickly, and it seemed that it was early to see the appearance of Mistgang. Just staring at them. Don't worry, as long as you stay here honestly, there will be no danger. Even if Doflamingo appears opposite you now, I can guarantee that you are safe and sound. Hearing this, Krasen's eyes widened suddenly. Before Mistgang appeared, their biggest threat was Doflamingo. Presumably now Doflamingo already knows that Krasen is an undercover relationship with a certain force, and with Doflamingo's character, even if this traitor is his own younger brother, he can never let it go. He doesn't allow anyone to betray the family, and the traitor is also the kind of person he hates most. Well, we just stay here and won't act rashly. Krasen raised his hands and made a gesture of surrender. And Luo was paralyzed on the ground at this time. Although they didn't know what Mistgang's attitude towards them was, overall, his life was still saved. But I want to ask, who are we waiting for here? You'll know in a moment, but you should know him after all. After all, he is still very famous during this year. After waiting for about a long time, Riester finally arrived. Coming. Mistgang said, in his perception of observation hockey, there was already a strong aura rushing towards them quickly, and there were only two people with this sensing speed. One is Marine's Kazaru Admiral, and the other is Marine's world's largest swordsman, Riester Rear Admiral. As Mistgang's voice fell, a golden light appeared in front of the three of them. Except for Mistgang, both Luo and Krasen were stunned. Luo directly shocked him because of the gorgeous appearance of Riester, while Krasen looked at the justice robe behind the opponent and recognized the identity of the opponent. Advertisement: if there is anyone among Marines who is most likely to get the identity of Admiral, the only one in front of him is Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, the world's largest swordsman, Rist. It is said that Doflamingo suffered a lot from the opponent's hands. Is op fruit eaten by that kid? Rist approached Luo and asked, while Krasen was blocked by the Vice Admiral of the two. But Krasen's identity is rather special, just like his identity with Zephyr. You are Doflamingo's younger brother, Klasen, right? But the gap between you and your brother is really big. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. After all, my brother is still very good. North Blue. I'm in North Blue now. Oh, it's Riester. Aren't you on your way back to Naval Headquarters? Have you encountered something? Krasen waved his hand, motioning Luo not to worry. A pirate named Krasen fed op fruit to a child. It can be said that there is no op fruit now, and some only have op fruit ability. Yes, I am not only in North Blue, but also in Frevens, and I also found op fruit, but unfortunately, I have no way to bring op fruit back. Hey, Marshal Sengoku, this is Riester. Luo Li immediately asked with concern. Mr. Krasen. After that, Riester ignored him, and left Marshal Sengoku to decide what kind of punishment Krasen would do. If someone else forcibly feeds op fruit to a child, he will definitely be shot. Upon hearing North Blue, Sengoku thought of the son who was now in danger. Unexpectedly, I would meet you in this place, Marine legend, Riester Rear Admiral. What happened? But in the next second, Krasen coughed up a mouthful of blood.